Okay. Let me make sure that everything looks okay. Well, anyways. Wait. I was about to say, hey y'all. I have not been on live this whole year because I have been figuring out my life. Or just, I don't know, in this place where I'm trying to um figure out like what I need to do, what I want to do, like that type of thing. And this weekend I figured it out. And through me figuring that out, my life literally changed overnight. I started being able to hear myself a lot clearer. Um, and I started getting contact from the Pleiadians. And so I have a notebook full of just messages that are meant to help us live well, because my job is to help us to embody. And so just messages, pages, 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 pages. Wait, there's more. Okay. Notebook full of pages, 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 pages of just shit. And then I also have notes in my phone. So I was trying to figure out like what I was about to do with this information, and I have to share it. Like I have to share it. They have been preparing me to get into this space of sharing. Hold on, give me a second, child. Okay. I have to share it because that's what I came here to do. Period, point blank. Um, and I was a little hesitant because I feel like, hey, memory. I was a little hesitant because I was just like, damn, like this is a lot of information. Like, I wonder how people are gonna take this. And also too, like as I'm writing it down, like my ego gets in the way a lot. And what I mean by that is, hey, Tornisha, my ego gets in the way a lot. And what I mean by that is that they will be telling me something and I'm getting a channel message and I'm trying to in my head come up with what I think that they're trying to say to me. And so it causes like a little friction, a little tension. So I'm still really in this stage of trying to figure out how to communicate with them because, sorry, I'm just getting myself ready. Hey, love. Um, but I'm still in the stage of trying to figure out how to like communicate with them because sometimes I get so excited because they're telling me something that is like ground fucking shaking information that we should have had a long time ago, but I ain't gonna get hung up in the semantics. And so they telling me something and it's like I'm trying to put it together in my head of what I think is happening, because what I have learned over these last I'll probably say 3 years, all has been guidance from them. That they were setting the foundation on what it is that I needed to understand on just a basic level so that they could tell me the rest. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just kind of wanted to get on here and just start popping in on live. I'm not gonna have like a set schedule of when I do this, but this all will be available on my podcast because I think that's what Becoming No One was about. It was about me sharing the truth from my perspective and explaining to other people like what my experience has been. I think this is going to be really fun because a lot of this information helps you to get in contact with your gifts again. And if you want help with that, I do have Soul School. At first, I wasn't going to open Soul School back up until 3 years because it's a 3-year cycle, but Spirit is telling me that I cannot do that. So apparently I be having my own agenda and they be having their own. And their agenda be trumping mine, and I don't really like that. But I don't know what I know until I know what I know. And so there have been a series of events that have happened over these last couple of weeks that have all been leading me up into June 13th, 6/13, which is a priestess portal, by the way. Everything has been leading me up to that. So let me tell y'all what I did first before I get into like the things. I just watched the video you just posted. I wish there was Nigga back better only think that from the exactly, girl. Exactly, girl. But we're gonna break it down though, because I think it actually gets a lot deeper than you think. Hey Deja. I know I haven't been on live at all this year. I think I went live maybe twice this year, but I was getting reorganized around my truth. And um, so yeah, we're gonna get into that. But let me tell y'all what happened, because I think that we spend so much time looking towards the future that it pulls us out of this present moment to where we're not noticing the things that are showing up for us, and we don't realize that the things that are showing up for us. Oh, I'm about to talk about you, Lisa. The things that are showing up for us are actually guidance. So let me tell you a couple things that happened that I realized was guidance, but I didn't know at the time it was guidance. So the first thing is somebody invited me to a podcast, which is one of my mentees. I don't do podcasts. I don't know why. I don't like it. I don't know. But I have said no and have been adamant about telling people no when they ask me to do their podcast. And I decided to just go. She was in San Diego. It was only a 2-hour drive. I decided to drive up there myself. And I was just like, oh, it'll be a time for us to hang out and da da da. Well, I didn't charge her anything just because I feel like, why? Why are we charging for the truth? But anyways. So I go up there, and I ain't gonna lie to you. When I went up there, I didn't really have no money in my bank account. I ain't have nothing. I just was following blind guidance because I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I don't know why I feel the urge that I need to do this. I have to do this. So I get there, and what she gives me is like this bag full of stuff. And in the bag full of stuff is 2 notebooks. Well, I'm sorry, 1 notebook, which is Big Mama right here. This is me reimagining my life. So she gave me this notebook, and she came in with a basket full of her old notebooks. And it made me think like, damn, like, you're a writer. Why haven't you been writing? Like, that was the thought that came through my head when she brought in this big ass. And when I say it was like 50 fucking journals, it was like 50 journals that she had filled up. And so I'm like, wait, I'm a writer. Why the fuck ain't I writing? Because y'all know I'm writing a book right now. I've always been really good at writing. I've always had an affinity towards books and stuff like that. So I was like, wait, why am I not writing? You know what? I can use this journal she just gave me to write in, right? And it made me remember that I had another journal, this one, which was gifted to me from a friend on my birthday. And she was like, hey, I just thought this would be really cool for you to just write down some ideas and da-da-da. Okay. The podcast, she gives me a whole bunch of stuff, which is good. And then I'm in class one day, and I'm talking to like one of we're doing like a game. So when you're in school, like instead of like doing tests, we played Jeopardy, right? And so we were doing Jeopardy, and I allowed them to use their notes. And Lisa, who's in the chat, pulled out her notebook, slapped that puppy open, and had all her notes organized. And I said, okay, Lisa, with the notebook. And that's stuck in my head, right? I go to the gym. I would probably say Friday. I don't know why I ended up at the gym at this time, because it's not a normal time that I go to the gym. But for some reason, I had got up way earlier, and I had got myself together. So I ended up at the gym at a time I hadn't been in a long time. And every time I get done with the gym, I go into the sauna, because that's the time for me to like recalibrate, reprogram myself. I told y'all what I'll be doing in the gym. In the gym, I collapse timelines. The weight that my people was carrying, I'm moving that weight. So going to the gym is like a demonstration of me moving energy. And then before I go into the sauna, I wash off the weight that's not mine to carry. And then I go into the sauna, and I basically reprogram myself. And so I go into the sauna, and there was a Black lady in there that I never seen, but she looked like my grandma. And so I walk in, but I got my headphones on, and I could hear her mumbling something, but I cannot hear what she's mumbling, right? And so I heard a voice very clearly tell me to take my headphones off. And so I'm like, okay, I take my headphones. Y'all know I'm a medium. So I'm like, okay, I take my headphones off. Whatever. And I go into meditation, and somebody from her people come in, and it's saying she only has 2 more weeks. She only has 2 more weeks before, she starts seeing a change. And so I open my eyes and look at her, and I'm just like, okay, close your eyes again, because that ain't none of your business. Mind your motherfucking business, bitch. And so I'm like, this lady trying to, relax in the sauna, like, let me not ruin her motherfucking day. And so I kept hearing in my head, you are what was sent. You are what was sent. You are what was sent. You have to tell her. And I'm like, no, like, I'm literally going through this battle. I'm like, no, I don't want to be the type of person that just starts scaring people or just starts walking up to people like, hey, I'm a medium. Your dead aunt said, I just didn't want to be that type of person. It was like, you have to, because you were what was sent. You were what was sent. You were her blessing. And I was like, okay, fine. And so I opened my eyes, and as soon as I opened my eyes, my mouth started talking. And I was like, what the fuck? It was almost like it wasn't me. It was like I opened my eyes and I was like, hey, and she was looking dead at me. And I was just like, hey, do you have somebody named Jean on your dad's side? And she's like, no, but I do have a friend that I talked to this morning named Janie or whatever. And I was like, okay, well, I'm getting a name, something like this. They saying you only have about 2 more weeks, right? Before things start to clear up. And she was like, yes, I believe we're God's children, da 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 da. She goes on this rant, but she gets up out that motherfucking sauna so fucking quick. She was like, she immediately started talking about God. And I was like, oh, maybe she's like a Christian or religious. I shouldn't have said that. And then so she like starts, she's like telling me about God, and she starts gathering her things real quick and she walks out. And I was like, okay, whatever. And so I'm sitting in the sauna and I'm like, no, like I feel like you did the right thing. You were getting guidance that you needed to tell her that, like, maybe she feels uncomfortable with it now, but like maybe later on, like it'll be different, whatever. I just did my part. And so I sat with myself because I started to feel too intense. Yes, Prince forever, period. I started to, he be coming through for me. Prince, Michael Jackson, like, anyways, we'll talk about that in a second. But thank you. But yeah, I felt terrible after I like said something to her, and I was like, damn, like, why do I feel terrible like anytime that I'm taking up space or anytime that I'm like following guidance? Like, am I afraid of my own intensity? Like, what's going on? And so I went through this whole thing, but I was just like, you know what? No, I'm happy that I spoke up because Spirit said that I needed to. And I'm comfortable even when I don't understand the guidance moving forward. That was a tipping point for me because I did not know that that was a test. That was them trying to see if I was going to speak up, if I had the cojones to start speaking up. And so because I did, and then I was just like, you know what? No, I'm just going to keep speaking up because it just is what it is. Because of that, I started getting channel messages. Okay. Right after that, I came home, I showered, I sat on the porch and I started writing. And when I started writing in this book, I really just was reimagining my life. And then I said, you know what, on this book, I'm just going to carry this book around with me. And I'm just going to write any little messages that I get. Like, I'm just going to write them down. I sat down and I didn't get up for about 3 hours because it was just coming through me. And I was like, wait a fucking second. And so the first day I just write it all down. The second day I start asking questions. I was like, who is this? Like, who am I talking to? And so I have Pleiadians around me. And so I have a group of Pleiadians, a council of Pleiadians, who are helping me with my book. They're helping me with school. They're helping me with a lot of things. And then I have don't say obey. Marvelous. The reason why I say that is because you still have your own autonomy. You still have your own authority. Your worth is important in this. You're just as worthy as any spirit that you come in contact with in this place. So don't the word obey. I don't know why that was fucking me up for like 3 weeks because I kept hearing the word. Like, I kept hearing in my head, like, you need to obey, you need to obey. And I'm like, I don't obey nobody. I don't obey nothing. We can work in community with each other, but don't obey nothing. Okay, that's part of knowing your worth. Let me just say that. Because you're your own authority in your life. Sometimes it feels like our ego wants to block us from getting the messages. Yes, because the mind is the pathway in. The mind is what you have to master in order for you to be able to get in contact with your body. Because what happens is your mind is not your mind. It ain't even your mind. Hold on, let me take that back. Your processing center, whatever you want to call it. It's you. It's yourself. It's yourself is the problem. It's not the mind that's the problem. It is us not knowing our role in this. And so what I mean by that is your higher self is responsible for this incarnation. Your higher self is trying to teach you how to live well. How do you live on earth and have a good fucking time? Okay, that's your higher self. The eternal self is the infinite self. That's the part of you that remembers everything. That's the part of you that is directly connected to divine intelligence. You are responsible for creating the safe environment. And the problem is that we're only responsible for creating the safe environment, and we're trying to do everybody's fucking job. It's like we in a car together and we trying to handle the radio. We trying to help them drive the car. We trying to slam on the brakes when it's time for them to, we are trying to do everybody's job when our only job is to create the environment for us to feel safe so that our light can come down. Right. And so it ain't even the mind, it's fucking you. It's you. We are the problem because we are living in this state of fear. And because we living in this state of fear, we let in the fear hijack our position. We don't need to see everything. Our higher self sees everything. We don't need to see everything. She knows exactly where we're going. She knows exactly what the plan is. She knows where everything is. Our issue comes in is when we try to do her job. That's not our job. Our job is not in the how. Our job is not to see the full picture. That's her job. We just got to trust that she know what the fuck she's doing, and that and understand that she is you, or he is you. It's the sixth density version of yourself. So it's you evolved. It's the evolved you turning back to say, hey, let me grab your hand and pull you up. But we can't, if we're not listening to that voice because we're in panic and we just in the car hitting all the damn switches, or it's like being in a plane and the plane is going down and we just pushing all the motherfucking buttons, you know? We got to recalibrate ourselves. So yeah, I forgot what I was saying though. I was saying something before I read that comment about obey. Let me put my thinking cap on. Anyways, I'm just gonna start giving y'all the messages. We're gonna just start with the messages. I will say though that it made me realize, like these last couple of weeks made me realize that everything that happens in your reality happens for a reason. Every time you meet somebody, every time you talk to somebody, every time you brush past somebody on the street, every single thing is guidance. It's information. And that's why we got to stop living in the past and stop living in the future. We have to be in the present moment, because the clues to where we are going is in the present moment. It's in the environment that you're in right now, you know, and that's why you also got to make sure you're in the right environments, which means you got safety is your only job. Your only job is to make sure that you feel safe. That's it. So that your light is going to do the rest, but you are responsible for creating the environment, which means that you're the vibe. And if you don't like your life right now, you're fucking up the vibe. You're fucking up the vibe. And you're fucking it up by the choices that you're making, because you got scared because you hit a pothole and you just on fucking autopilot. And you just letting the car cruise because you don't want to be responsible for shit going wrong. But it's your job to create the environment, so can't nobody else do their fucking job until you do your job. Right? And safety, because your job is safety. If your job is the environment, safety comes from two things. One, the environment that you continuously should subject yourself to. You have to make sure that you feel safe in the environments that you're in. So if you keep going over and hanging out with people who rejecting you, making you feel unseen, making you feel unheard, humiliating you in front of niggas, whatever the fucking case is, you're in the wrong environments. You're around people who are actively rejecting you. Why? We spend so much time trying to get people to be what we want them to be, instead of going around people who are already who we need them to be. Because we think something is wrong with us. That's what happens when you live in shame, because shame alters your entire perception. Shame tells you something is wrong with you. And so that's just confirmation to you that something is wrong with you. And so you start shape-shifting and you choose silence and you do all these things to make yourself smaller because you're trying to fit in. You don't need to fucking fit in. You didn't come here to fucking fit in. You came here to create a life that you actually enjoy. And your team is trying to help you to do that, but we too fucking busy trying to control everything. And I'm a control freak. So I'm the right messenger, I promise you. I have a Taurus sun and a Scorpio fucking moon. Don't nobody control more than them two motherfuckers. It's just that Taurus controls through slowness and stillness and structural knowing, where Scorpio controls through emotional intelligence. You know? And so we need to be in the right environments. We need to be around people who value us, who see us, who care about us, who are not actively trying to get us to go against ourselves. Every time we tell them an idea, they like, oh, well, that's stupid. That's impractical. That's this, that's that. Bitch, that's why the vision wasn't given to you, because you're so closed-minded. You think it's small, bitch. You need to be thinking big, right? So the environment has to do with who you're around. The second part is safety comes from communication. It don't come from silence. Silence is you choosing to shrink. Okay, not all the time though, because some silence is strategic, meaning that you notice that you're not going to be able to get through to this person. So it's nothing you're going to be able to say to get through to them. You're just realigning with yourself. That's when silence is okay, when you're realigning with yourself. Silence is not okay when somebody is impacting you, somebody is harming you, somebody is doing something that is causing you to feel unsafe. That is not the time, because that's you abandoning yourself to keep the peace. For fucking what? For what? Why would we be doing that? As a person who built a whole career off of doing that, why would we be doing that? Right? You're dishonoring yourself every time that you do that. You're breaking the connection with yourself every time that you're doing that. You're breaking safety and trust within yourself every time that you do that. right? And so you got to learn how to speak the fuck up. Communication is a huge part. Communication is a huge part because that's where safety comes from. You setting healthy boundaries. You telling people how they made you feel. That's you telling people what you need, is you telling them how they made you feel. Conflict is a natural part of every single relationship that we have, because conflict is how you become closer, or you figure out that you need to move in a different direction. It is a portal. It is a threshold. Everything that we think is punishment is actually helping us, guidance. We just don't know how to read the book. We just don't know how to read the book. And so Notebooktage is activated today. All right. So the first message that I got was that melanin remembers. I got melanin remembers, and that melanin is earth energy. Okay. That is why the more melanin you have, the more you can stand in the sun. I don't need to say nothing else. Y'all know that them people getting that sun, and that sun be tearing their ass up, right? It's melanin, right? But you got to understand, it don't mean that somebody is better. Better is not what that means. But I do have theories about that. And so as I give y'all this information, I just want to tell y'all that this is still developing. A lot of times I'm writing something down, and then 10 pages later, they clear it up for me because my ego distorted it in some way. And so I'm going to tell y'all what I'm getting, but know that I'm just going to keep compounding onto this. Okay. Because these are like theories that I have, but also messages that I'm getting that are informing the theories. Right. So I'm just going to kind of start from the top and then just kind of work down until I'm tired. Okay. So the first thing that I get is melanin remembers. And so, earth remembers, because melanin is earth energy showing itself in the body. And melanin is a stabilizer, because melanin and adrenaline kind of work together, but melanin stabilizes. And so everybody has melanin in their body. It doesn't matter if you are incarnated on earth, you have melanin in your body. It's just the amount that you're able to produce based on your genetic structure, right? And so if earth is the infinite part of you, the eternal part of you, then that means that you need to be in your body, because earth is your body. Okay, the bottom 4 chakras are earth, which is the root, water, which is the sacral, fire, which is the solar plexus, air, which is the heart. Okay, that's the bottom part of you. The 3 becomes the 4. The 3 is the triple deity, right, that exists inside of you. The 4 is the elements of earth that are anchoring you into this reality. And so earth is your home. You, meaning like the body you live in, or this is earth, the earth you live in, your body. This is your home. You need to be in your house instead of outside of your house looking for danger. If you're not in your motherfucking house, somebody else can be. And what I mean by that is we are the living fucking dead, meaning that we are living beings who are embodying the energy of spirits that are already here. And the spirits were meant to help us. But the problem is we came here and we didn't know what the fuck we was doing, and we start disrespecting the fucking spirits. We walking over their dead bodies. We bumping into shit. We ain't leaving offerings. We ain't paying reverence to them. And so what happened is sometimes we offend them motherfucking spirits, and they are supposed to be moving through your body as information, as feeling, as memory, as stories. The stories you get, that's a spirit moving through your body. But we are so braced for danger that we clench up and they get stuck inside of our motherfucking body. They're getting stuck inside of our body instead of being able to move through us, pass through us. And so y'all know that scene off of movies where the what do you call that motherfucker? The Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper is taking them across the waters, and there's a bunch of spirits in the waters, and the Grim Reaper is taking them across the boat. Taking them on a boat across the water. You know, like it's like a one of the movies where this is like The Odyssey. Another movie is like What Dreams May Come by Robin Williams. Another movie is or not even movie, but what do you call that? It's The Sandman. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Like, don't make me pull up a picture. Please don't make me pull up a picture. But Ghost. Like the movie Ghost with Demi Moore. Oh, okay. Anyways, I'm just gonna keep going. But you know how like that man, the guardian of the dead. Like anytime you're trying to go into the underworld, there's a man or a Grim Reaper that comes. You get on a boat with him, and he takes you across the water. And if you look in the water, there's a whole bunch of souls that are mourning and like, yeah. That's what's happening in your body. The soul is in the water in your body. The water in your body is divine intelligence, right? It is what is speaking to you. It's how your soul speaks to you. It's through the water in your body. And so these souls is all stuck inhabiting us when they should be moving through us, right? Because they're teachers. They are meant to teach us. And so the moment that we, the West, turned our back on death, that's when we started to forget. And that's what the West did. The West had a fear of inadequacy. You got to think that the colonizers were not the winners. The colonizers were the people who ran. They're the people who escaped because they were afraid of death, and they went and built their own reality somewhere else. They have a fear of inadequacy. And so what they've been doing, or what we've been doing as the West for a long time, is we have been spiritual bypassing, and we have been building all these systems to help us to spiritual bypass, like AI, right? I was not one of those people who shied away from AI. And the reason why is because we always living in the fantasy world. We always spending our time going through the coulda, shoulda, wouldas. The coulda, shoulda, wouldas don't matter when this is what is. Like, we spend time trying to dissociate. We don't understand that us trying to dissociate the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, that's us not accepting what is. That's us not accepting the reality that we live in. This is the reality we live in. So many of us are spiritual bypassing because we only know spiritual bypassing because the people who started this country have been spiritual bypassing, right? And so we don't realize we spiritual bypass through spiritual elitism. That's what the West is. They think they better. Spiritual elitism. They living above the human experience. Living above the human experience is living in your mind. Putting all your weight on your higher self, or in the direction of your higher self. Solving everything through logic. That's living above the human experience, because the human experience is lived. You have to live it. If you are not living it because you refuse to feel, then you are living above your spiritual bypassing. Yes, I get it with the Grim Reaper. Okay, cool. Because I just was struggling, swimming upstream. But you're spiritual bypassing. We don't know that we spiritual bypassing. Okay. And so we are not in the body. We are in the mind. We need to move back into the body, because the body is what remembers. That's how you reconnect with the infinite self. And the infinite self lives in your womb. The infinite self is your womb. Okay. Because when they talk about the triplicity of life, they always talking about your womb, your heart, and your third eye. Those are the three wombs that are inside of your body: the void womb, the fire womb, the water womb. That sound familiar? Fire, water, neutrality. This is the sacral. The sacral, the heart, the anja, right? Those are the three wombs that are inside of your body. Those are the three methods through which things communicate. The eternal communicates through your womb. And so if you are going to remember, you have to be connected to your womb. But most women are not connected to their womb because of shame. Because just like Black people are being killed in this reality, and Black people are inherently aware that we are in danger, so are women. Because women are also constantly being killed. And so if you think about that, the only reason why men are being killed is because the only time that it's okay to kill a man is if he's Black. That means something, melanin. The only time it's okay to kill a woman is the only time it's okay to kill a white person is if she's a woman, right? Those two things. Everything comes from the Black woman. Everything comes from the Black woman. Okay, in this reality. Not in the universe, in this reality. Because I really do believe that this planet was only women first. I believe that it was only women first, and our compassion, the Martians that came, the gods that came down, the men who fucking procreated with the women. Yeah. I think it was humanoid beings. I think that those were the men coming here. But I think that this was inherently a feminine planet. And when you think about Queen Khalifa, and when you think about, I had a friend who, she is one of my star people, but she's from Arcturian or whatever. And so she was like, hey, like they just discovered this like place where there was a mass grave of like the women tribes who used to be in California. Like it was on the news. You should come over here and just kind of see. And I walked into this field job, and I could just hear the screaming. I could hear nothing but screaming. It was like I could hear nothing but screaming, and like bloodshed, and like a lot of things. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck is going on? And so I start talking to the women, like I started channeling or whatever. And they told me something was happening back in the woods. And so we started walking back there, and like 4 men started coming out the trees, and I backed the fuck up. I said, "Oh, what the fuck up? I don't know what the fuck is going on back there, but I think that they had something, like they was harming somebody back there." But when I was standing in the place, though, they kept on saying that this is all theirs. Like everything was theirs. Everything was theirs. And that it was taken from them. And I'm just like, wait, what are you talking about? And so I genuinely feel like this was a place, this was a very feminine planet. Okay. And it makes me think about Lemuria too. Like if you think about the story of Lemuria was all heart. We were more feminine leaning. And when I say feminine, I don't really mean that no men were here. Let me not say that, because I don't really think that the man, woman, the separation, it doesn't really exist in the way that we think it does. And so I feel like we were more feminine leaning energy. And then a more masculine energy came here and started pushing us, started dominating and conquering us. And we started moving into a more masculine energy, which was Atlantis. And so Lemuria was intuition. Atlantis was information. Right. And so where we are now is embodying those two, bringing those two together to create a new reality, which is going to be based out of divine union. It's what they call the golden age. The golden age is when you've already embodied your knowing. Right. And so you don't have to look for anything outside of yourself, because you come back into your body. You come back into alignment with your full self, And so yeah. What else? Everything we do is spiritual bypassing, like the education system. We are trying to control knowing. We are trying to control other people's knowing too. Not only, I honestly feel like the West is the people who forgot. The West are the people who forgot what it was to live life. And so they're trying to get other people to forget with them. I have not watched the movie The Laws of the Sun, but I've seen clips of it. But the West is the side that forgot. And so they are so terrified of what was happening to them, because they were people who were being killed for being Protestant, for not being whatever. They were so terrified of that happening again. They built a whole system out of fear. And that system is ran by fear and shame, And so everything they do is spiritual bypassing. Christianity is teaching you to demonize your ancestors, because what we used to believe in ancient Egypt was, because ancient Egypt, we studied death. That's literally what we were studying, the infinite. You cannot turn your back on death, because then you turn your back on mystery. Death is how we study the mysteries, the things that we don't understand, the unknown. Death is how we study it. And so what they used to do in ancient Egypt is they communed with the spirits, right? They aligned themselves with cats, because cats are spiritual beings. They are not just pets. They actually are not pets at all. And that's why cats just don't let you touch up on them. That's why they'll hit you in your motherfucking head. You put your motherfucking palms on them and they ain't fucking ready. Because cats are spiritual beings. They know their worth. They know who they are. We don't know who we are. Right? And so what they were studying was sex magic, because we ain't got to talk about that right now. But your womb is the seat of creation. It's how you create things. Okay, don't be just willingly giving away your womb, which I'm gonna tell you too, because I got a message. Because there's a point in time when I'm talking, where my spirit team is talking, meaning like I have two versions, right? For my higher self, her name is Amara. Okay, my name is Sarah. Amara, Sarah, and the Eternal. The Eternals is Lilith. The Eternals is Lilith for me. And that's Scorpio. Scorpio's Lilith. And so when you think about like the Egyptian god, and Amara is Venus. And so Isis, any of the feminine expressions that are about like love and beauty and art, because that's Taurus, that's Venus. So I'm between Venus and Scorpio, which is Venus and Mars. Them is the polarities of my energy. And so Lilith is the dark side of me. Amara or Isis or Hathor or Venus or Aphrodite is the light side of me. Okay. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'll explain it to y'all too, because they also told me how astrology is being used as a personality tool, and astrology is literally giving you the map. It's telling you what you came here to do. And most people don't realize that, because we're using it to judge other people instead of using it to get to explore ourselves. And so like the way that we've been interacting with astrology, with human design, with all of that is in a very masculine way. because we're using it against other people when we're supposed to be using it to understand ourselves. And so if you think about like your sun sign is telling you, hold on, I'll tell you. Hold on. It's how you express, because they broke down the sister signs. They broke down so much shit. Hold on. And that's what these sessions are going to be, like me just kind of jumping around, because they're giving me so much fucking information. I don't know what's up and down, what's right, round and round. Like, it's all just going to, oh, this is in my notes. Okay. So the sun, no, that's new stuff. Okay. So the sun is the energy you express through, it's the sun, your sun sign. So Taurus is the energy you express through to embody. I express through Taurus. Okay. Okay. You about to go into your anatomy. Final. Okay. So the sun is the energy you express through, or the lens you're looking through in order to embody. You have to figure out whatever that energy is. Okay. Your moon is the energy you express through to stay in alignment with your truth while you are embodying. And so your sun is your higher self. Your moon is your eternal self, whereas your rising sign is you. That's why it's in the house of self, the first house. The rising sign is the energy you express through to create a safe environment to embody into. And so for me, it's Libra. I need balance. I need harmony. I need good relationships with other people in order for me to feel safe. You know what I'm saying? And so we're looking at astrology wrong, because the planet is the intelligence that you are embodying. The planet is the intelligence that you are embodying. And so, like, let me give you an example, because we really need to start, because what they did in Egypt is they were actually studying archetypes, right? And they were giving them characters so you would know which one to look at, right? And so let's say, let's go to feminine energy, because I just, that's me, okay? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. All right. So let's say Venus. Venus is 6, okay? Is a 6 energy. The reason why that's important, numerology is the structure, it's the foundation of this universe. If you can understand what energy you're working with, 1 through 9, which really there are only 3 numbers. But you repeat those 3 numbers 3 times, which is what gives you 9, because you got to take everything through a 3 cycle. And so there's only 3 numbers that exist. But then 4, 5, and 6 is what happens when those 3 numbers are incarnated. And then 6, 7, and 9, 7, 8, and 9 is on a higher level. And so it's the micro, meso, and macrocosm all in one number, right? And so numerology is the foundation of the universe. If you can understand what energy a number holds, you can understand everything, right? And so the planet is the intelligence, because I'm about to give y'all a structure. The planet is the intelligence, okay? That is the energy you are trying to embody. That is the intelligence you are trying to embody, okay? The number is the function. The number is how it functions, okay? And so numerology is how the universe functions, how the energy functions. You need to know that. And then the deities in ancient Egypt that they was using is the face that the intelligence wears in particular cultures. And so it's the different mask of that same energy. And so you can think of it as like the energy being on a spectrum. How I told you, Taurus and Scorpio are sister signs, which means that I embody the polarity between these 2 energies, right? In the way that they're supposed to be embodied, by the way. But Taurus and Scorpio are the same energy. There's no separation between Taurus and Scorpio. It's just one is on the light side, one is on the dark side, right? These deities and these different deities in different cultures represent the planets. Mythology. I'm talking about Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology, all of the mythology. They were a way for us to categorize these energies so we could understand how to embody. Okay, because we were a matrilineal society back then. We were embodying, we were in our body, right? And so let's say we say Venus. Hold on. So Venus is the number, is ruled by the number 6. Okay, 6 is harmony, is devotion, is beauty, is art, it's all of the things. But 6 is a number of devotion. Okay. The themes of 6 energy are going to be beauty, relationship, pleasure, creativity, values, right? Because we're talking Taurus and we're talking Libra. If we're talking Venus, okay? Taurus is about self-love how do you live well as yourself. Libra is about how do you live well being in community with other people without abandoning yourself, right? And so the deities that are associated with Venus are going to be Aphrodite, Venus, Hathor, Oshun, Freya, Lakshmi in Hindu. I forgot, the Phoenicians is Astarte, or who is also Inanna, which is the Sumerians, right? And so what they're trying to teach you how to do, the sixth energy is trying to teach you how to attract, how to nurture, and how to adore things, how to attract, how to nurture, and how to adore, right? And so if you are a sixth energy, if you look in life path, because you know all these different systems we have, human design, astrology, life path, all of them are correct, but the way that we're looking at them is the distortion. The perception that we have while we're using them is distortion, because we're using it as a personality tool. We're using it to try to understand other people when it's about you. It's always been about you, right? And so if you're a sixth energy, or if you're a Venus energy and you want to learn how to live well in that energy, you need to study Aphrodite, Venus, Oshun. You need to study them because you're going to find similarities between you and them. Okay? So that's what they were doing in Egypt. And that's why Egypt was colonized. And that's why Egypt was conquered, because they couldn't have you in your body, because when you're in your body, you trust in something that you do not understand. You're trusting in the unknown. And so they needed to colonize them, because that's how you control. You can only control through conquering. I might. To be honest, like I don't like to do the extra work to try to help people understand things, because that's y'all work to do. And that's not a dig, and that's not me being mean or me being rude, but that is y'all's work to do. You know, I already understand it. And so if I go out of my way to make all these extra documents and all these extra things, that's me investing my energy in you, and I'm not getting anything back in return for that. You know, and that's not a bad thing, because the deities explain this to me, and I'm as we keep going through this book of like the messages that I'm getting, it'll make more sense. I do consultations and divinations if y'all need help with, and y'all stuck right now. That's why I call myself a soul doula, because I help us through these many death and rebirth cycles that we go through while we live in. I'll do consultations and divinations, but I realized that a lot of the stuff that I did in the last 3 years was me trying to save people. The energetic profiles, the content, like everything was about me trying to save people, instead of me expressing my truth and allowing you to do with that what you should. You know, I think that's what I mean when I say we've been spiritual bypassing. We expect other people to give us the answers. We expect to be able to use other people's work, and we feel entitled to it. We feel entitled to using other people's work instead of living it ourselves. No, you need to live it yourself. You need to live this yourself. You need to come to this understanding. Don't just take what I'm saying and run with it. Like literally go and try to live it and see if it's true for you. Yes, you have to do the walking, you have to do the working. And that's not, and again, I say that with your best interest in my mind. I say that with your best interest in my mind, because we spent too much time following people. That's the problem with the West, is that we done followed people into fucking hell. We done followed them into hell. Now look at us. We don't know nothing. We have completely forgot in a way. And it's because we followed them right into a fucking trap. You got to do your own work. You got to do your own work. I will give you what I'm getting, because I think you got to have awareness to know where to look. Right. And so I consider myself the person who plants the seeds for you to go do your work. But you need to do your work. Don't ever. One of the things that has always stuck with me my whole life, and I know this might be a little ghetto. I don't give a fuck. I am actually happy I come from the hood, and I'll tell y'all why. But y'all know Players Club. I ain't had no motherfucking business watching Players Club. But when Daimon was sitting in that class, and that lady had said something to her, and she said, I don't trust nobody's work but my own. That was a motherfucking bar. That was a motherfucking bar. That stuck with me my whole life. I don't trust nobody work but my own. It's my work to do. It's my opinion. It's my thing to come to, right? And let me tell you this about the hood, though, because one thing that I realized when I was a kid, I used to hate being from the hood, because the whole society is like, you know, talking about you like they're savages, they're hoodlums, they're this, they're that, there's no blah, 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 blah. But then they come to the hood for creativity, because what we don't realize is that struggle is the birthplace for creation. We think struggle, we look at struggle like it's punishment. No, it's not. It's innovation. It's innovation, because nobody creates like people in the hood, because people in the hood don't have resources. And so we nigger rig everything. We gonna figure it the fuck out. That's why we're like the hood. That's why they go to the hood for our entertainers. They go to the hood because we don't have resources, which means we are forced to create a way. We are forced to use our inner resourcefulness to make a way out of no motherfucking way. I love the hood. I love the hood. Don't shoot me, but I love it over there. I love it over there. We are the creators. We are the innovators. We need tension sometimes in order to create. We need struggle. We need challenges because we don't know our truth until we go through those struggles and those challenges. And it forces us to get out our comfort zone and forces us to transform. I think depth is in the hood. Transformation is in the hood because people who are in the hood, people who are being oppressed don't get an opportunity or the privilege to spiritual bypass. We live in trauma every motherfucking day. We don't have time to spiritual bypass. We have to live in reality because our reality is fucking killing us. Our reality is killing us. And so we have to live in reality. But the problem I think with us is that we in our body, but we too in our body, but we're overusing our body in a way. Meaning that we feel everything, we're sensing everything, we're hyper vigilant in a way, but we got to make the body feel safe in order for us to get clarity. Otherwise, we're moving from a distorted place. And I'm in Chicago Art and Music Program, are the first to go. Exactly. Yes, because dance helps you to release shame. Dance is how you get in your body. It's how you get on your natural rhythm, right? It's how you gain confidence and trust in yourself because you got to trust yourself if you dance. Okay. Music is alchemy. I actually did a dissertation the other day, y'all, because I have been writing because I'm a writer. Okay. I'm a writer. I've been a writer. I've been denying that I am a writer. Okay. And I think I've denied that I was a writer because in this environment, you don't feel safe as a writer because they tell you that writers are not going to make money. All of the arts. That's why I feel like in the West, the arts are not valued. The arts are not valued because the arts are your pathway back to yourself. The arts are alchemy. The arts are how you alchemize what you're dealing with, And so, hey, listening, but I'm catching up on parts I missed. It's Janaea. Oh, hey, Janaea. But arts are the alchemy. And of course, they're going to make you feel unsafe doing the arts because then you'll give up and abandon your dreams to go live in a system for safety. We depending on a system to provide safety when safety is an inside job. I am now living a life that I wanted to fucking live. I live in LA, which is where I wanted to live my entire life. I live in one of my favorite apartments. It's like a little townhouse. At the top is like very lofty. Oh, I live in my favorite apartment. I have a rooftop right here behind me. The rooftop just leads to the outdoors. Couldn't ask for anything more. I have a soul school where I'm teaching people how to embody their fucking energy because, yeah, we like that. They ain't going to keep us down too motherfucking long, right? I got that. I got my podcast. I got my content. I have been working for myself for the last 2 years, and I've been working through my self-worth issues because I tie my work to how much I have, how much I could accomplish, how much I could give without receiving anything in return, how much I could fucking take. That's not how we're supposed to be living, but that's how women are conditioned to live. And so if we gonna change anything, those of us who remember, we got to come forward and we got to start fucking talking about the shit. We got to start fucking talking about it, and stop trying to regulate people's emotions before we even decide what it is that we believe. Because a lot of time we let how we think other people are going to receive us impact what we fucking think. That's crazy. That is crazy. Before you even get to what you feel about it, you're already trying to talk yourself out of it. So we just got to do, I don't know. I just feel like this year, especially these next 7 years, because they tell me this has been happening because Uranus is in Gemini. Uranus moving to Gemini. We needed like 3 months to kind of recalibrate ourselves and kind of get used to being in this energy because this energy does move a little bit faster. It is masculine energy. However, the next 7 years are about expressing yourself, expressing your truth. And if you refuse to do that, you are going to have a hard time because Gemini is going to beat your motherfucking ass. Okay. Gemini is going to turn you every way but loose. Like Taurus in the last 7 years turned me every way but loose. We just came out of Uranus and Taurus. I have a Taurus Sun, a Taurus Venus, and a Taurus Mercury. The way that I communicate, completely different in these last 7 years. The way that I contribute to the collective, completely different in the last 7 years. The way that I love people, completely different in these last 7 years. Right? Yeah, so these next 7 years are important for you, Shauna. But you are being forced to speak and live in your truth, because we're moving into the golden age, which means that we are embodying our truth. So right now you need to be applying the knowing. You need to be practicing, right? And so they kept giving me this, and I've been getting this message for like 3 months. And that's another thing too. I think we are so obsessed with instant gratification. We think that we're supposed to have all the answers right now. That's us trying to do the job of our higher self. No, you're not. You're supposed to make it to the next destination. At the next destination, you will get what you're looking for. And then the next destination, then once you leave that destination and move to another one, you'll get what you're looking for. But when you're in transit, you don't know where you're going. You don't know where you're going. The only time you know when you're going, where you're going, is when you start and when you stop. That's it. Yes, the veil is being lifted. Yeah. A lot of us learned it the hard way, though. I waited until I did not surrender to the unknown until 2 days ago. No, what was the 13th? Yeah, until 2 days ago. I had thought that I had surrendered. I had thought that I had done all the. No, I did not fucking surrender. And I've been on this journey for 5 years. I did not surrender until 2 days ago. So it's not, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. So don't look at yourself in that light, because you're exactly where you're supposed to be. I didn't get it until 2 days ago. And I've been actively teaching online and all of this stuff for 3 years, 4 years. You know, and that's why there's no such thing as you got to wait until you're ready. You're already ready. You were born ready. You just have to start moving and doing the things, because it's through you moving and doing the things, through you moving from conceptual, a concept, which is spiritual bypass. And if you stay in the conceptual knowing, if you stay in information, you are spiritual bypassing. If you're searching for information, you are spiritual bypassing. Okay? You're trying to justify through understanding instead of living. Okay? You got to move into applied knowing, where you're practicing it, which was what I've been doing these last 5 years. I've been practicing it. And now until you get to the other side, which is embodied knowing. But you got to understand, when you're practicing, when you're in applied knowing, you are in the mirror phase. You're in the mirror phase. It's a whole bunch of fucking illusions. We as a collective level are moving through the mirror phase. Okay. There's a whole bunch of illusions that are coming at you. The illusions are necessary because it's how you decide what is for you and what is not. It's how you decide. It's how you find your truth. But you can't get lost in the illusions and start fighting the motherfucking illusions. We've been fighting the illusions. We've been fighting the illusions. You're not supposed to fight the illusions. You're supposed to notice the illusions and move according to you. You know? I get so much in my head. I'm learning how to process the info. I totally get that. Literally, what I've been working on these last couple of weeks is releasing my need to control. And what I mean by that is, I did not realize how much 111 on the clock. How many people are in here? I did not realize that I was preparing for danger in every single second of my life. Everything I was doing, I would start a conversation in my head, which we don't realize dissociation. That's us trying to spiritual bypass. That's us trying not to go through the hard shit. I would make a scenario in my head for everything that I think that's going to go wrong. And it could be as simple as the other day, I was getting in the shower. I just came from the gym. I was getting in the shower, and I knew that the maintenance people was coming between like 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. I don't know when they're coming in between. And so because I was uncomfortable with knowing when they coming in between, I jumped in the shower. And the whole time I was in the shower, I was running through scenarios of what I'm going to do when they bust through this door and I'm butt ass motherfucking naked with the door open. And so I'm like going through my head like, okay, I'm going to say this, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to have to yell, or I'm going to have to. And then I have to stop myself and say, hold on, we don't know that any of that is going to happen. So why are you preparing for it? Why are you preparing for somebody to bust in your house while you butt ass motherfucking naked? Right? But it's because I'm braced for danger. It's because I have been braced for danger. And so you have to interrupt the identity when it's happening. You got to stop yourself and you got to say, hold on. need to prepare for this because I trust that I'll be able to handle it when it comes. That's it. It's about self-trust. You have to keep reorganizing yourself around that. So when it's happening, stop yourself and say, hold on, I don't need to figure this out right now. I don't need to prepare. I already know what to do when it happens. And I had to keep doing that continuously over these last 3 weeks. I have been doing that continuously. It's been nonstop because I didn't realize how much I was looping in my head trying to prepare. It'd be as simple as somebody like saying something to me and then like, oh, Taja, let's hang out at 5 o'clock. I'm preparing for something to go wrong. It could be as simple as like me feeling like I can't be myself. I think that's what it comes from, is us feeling like we can't be ourselves around people, so we need to shapeshift. And so we're preparing to have to shapeshift, or we're preparing to have to, fucking jump on somebody's motherfucking back if they try us. Like it's survival instinct. Our survival instinct has hijacked our whole experience. The survival instinct has hijacked the whole experience, And so, anywho, the West has been spiritual bypassing, and I'm gonna continue on with that in just a second. Necromancy. Necromancy is not what we think it is. It's not raising the fucking dead like fucking zombies. That's not what necromancy is. Necromancy is just a cute word for ancestor veneration. Okay? Necromancy is divining through the dead. Divining through the dead. Okay? Which is ancestor veneration. And so that used to be called demonia as well, with demonology. Okay? What you have to understand is that daemons, if you look at the ancient Greek word, just meant spirits. Okay? It just meant spirits. Okay? Daimon. They just changed Daimon to Demon. Okay? And so that just means spirits. It means divining through the spirits. In order for us to understand the infinite, we need to talk to the spirits. Why? Because the spirits have lived it. The spirits know. The spirits are the wisdom. Right? I will continue. So, demonology, anything that was natural to us, they took and they rebranded it. Why? Because they're the ones who's causing the destruction. So naturally, anything they do, we will reject. We will reject. That's why they always doing this. This is a mudra. That's why they always doing this. This is a mudra. That's why they always doing this. This is a mudra. These are mudras that help you to realign with yourself. If you see them doing it and you consider them to be bad, you will think that the symbols are bad and therefore you don't do it. It's a way to condition you against yourself. And that's why they say the world is a stage and everybody is performing. Okay? Everybody is disembodying you from yourself. Okay? And so Christianity is teaching you how to demonize your ancestors. Christianity is teaching you how to demonize the dead. The very thing that is meant to help you through this experience. Christianity is teaching you to demonize because the West turned their back on the unknown, which is the dead, the mystery in life. And that's what we used to study in ancient Egypt. The dead teaches, warns, protects, and remembers. The dead teaches, warns, protects, and remembers. Okay? Your ancestors are who they keep calling the demons. Right? Because they tell you don't talk to your ancestors. If you talk to anything outside of this white man in a blowout, who is really a gay man, the gay lover of an emperor who was trying to colonize you. If you don't, this is the only spirit you can talk to, is this one spirit, instead of the ones who actually shed blood for you to get here. The one who actually bodies broke for you to be here, died in the process of getting you fucking here. But this white man, centuries ago, he was actually nailed to a cross for your sins. And he died for your sins. And so you owe him reverence. But your ancestors, you don't owe them reverence. Those are demons. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here with that. Our ancestors, when they pass away, they descend into Earth's grid. And what Spirit told me last night is that they anchor into truth. And so they are all knowing once they pass away. They know everything because they're now living in the spiritual world, what you are trying to understand while you're here. And so they can help you through, they can help you, they can warn you, they can. And so when you are, your spiritual gifts, they are lending you their sight. They're lending you their information. That's why sometimes I got clairaudience. If I get around a motherfucker who been talking shit about me, spirit will start playing the conversation in my head. The moment I get in a field, I start hearing the conversation in my head. That's your ancestors lending you their ears. Anytime you get an imagery in your head, anytime you do a mediumship psychic, that's your ancestors lending you their sight. They're working through you. They're warning you. They're teaching you. Hold on, it's saying my device is heating up. They must not want me to, you know what I'm saying? But they're lending you, they're trying to teach you, they're trying to show you the way. And so if you busy demonizing them, if you hate yourself, if you hate yourself, you ain't gonna be able to connect, period, point blank. And most of us don't realize that we hate ourselves. You'll know that you hate yourself because you hate being here. If you hate being here, you hate living, you hate yourself. It just works that way because our body is earth. We are earth. We are earth. We are what happens when earth decides to move. If you hate earth, you hate yourself. And it's just as simple as that. That's not a dig, friend. It just means that you moved away from yourself. You don't like yourself. And therefore you are staying in a disconnected state. Not wanting to be here is dissociation. It's spiritual bypassing. Okay. People are not going to want to hear that. I cannot control how people perceive that. Okay. Oh, my phone was glitching. No, I had my charger in though, so my phone actually is hot. But I think it was my charger was causing the issue. But anyways, Christianity is teaching you to shame your ancestors, the people who came before you, the people whose legacy you are expanding. You are expanding their legacy through your hands. Every instinct that you have, every discernment, every intuition is coming from your ancestors. And you are literally forsaking them in real time. You got to realize that the things that they went through, the things that they had to decide was because of their circumstances. Their circumstances was different than yours. We just came through from applied knowing, which means all of them were living in illusion. We get an opportunity to not live in illusion because we were born during a threshold where the energy is shifting into something else. They had to live in illusion. And so all the shit that they chose was based on how they needed to survive in that moment. It wasn't that they were trying to hurt you and they were trying to, it's glitching right now. Not wanting to be here is dissociation. It's fragmentation. It's disconnection from your body. No, not now. Okay. Okay, YouTube is good. Mine is fine. No, it's not glitching on my end. Okay, cool. But yeah, Christianity was a way to teach you to demonize and to shame your ancestors. But everything that you do is an extension of your ancestors. Your ancestors carried what you get the luxury of not carrying, right? And meaning that they sacrificed so that you could be here in this moment, going through the embodiment process. They stood on the fucking knife for you so that you could have this moment, because they knew they could handle that moment. They need you to be able to handle this moment. And so they went through the beating. They went through all of that was for you. And we hate them for it because we too busy fighting the mirror, not realizing that every single thing that we've been through, every experience we had was forming us. Every experience we had was initiation. It wasn't punishment. You don't know who you're supposed to be until you start looking back at that. You start reflecting and you start figuring out what's you and what's other people. What was their beliefs versus your beliefs? What did you like about how they moved? What didn't you like about how they moved? And refining yourself into the person that you're supposed to be. But so many of us get stuck in the mirror. So many of us get stuck in the pain of it all. So many of us get stuck in the story. The story is the illusion. The story is the illusion. Every single one of us is a story playing out in real time. When we die, that story remains. It gets anchored into the collective field. And so some of us are very receptive in our energy. As we walk through this world, we brush up on unconscious or forgotten energy. And that story starts to play through us. Oh, that's just moving energy, baby. Anytime that we cry sometimes out of resonance. We cry because we notice the truth when we hear it, right? So that's not a bad thing. Let yourself cry that out. You got to move that energy because all that stuck energy that's burying parts of you is coming to the top. Move that shit out the way so you can see yourself again. You know? And so, what was I saying? Damn. Now, I think the only challenge of all of this is that I got the mind of fucking Dory. I got the mind of a fucking fish. I don't know if we're ever gonna connect dots ever fucking around with me. We will eventually, but yeah. What was I saying before that though? Because so here's the thing: Christianity was forced on our ancestors. Our ancestors didn't decide to be Christian. What happened is they passed a law that said if you are a Christian, you cannot be enslaved. And so most of our ancestors went over to Christianity, but we were still working the roots underneath Christianity. And so the way that we see the saints and the way they see the saints is completely different. And so there's still a pathway for you because we are trying to live above the human experience. No, we need to live within it. We need to accept what is. And so if our ancestors use Christianity, we need to use Christianity to our benefit with the understanding that, because I think the Bible itself is a beautiful book. It teaches you embodiment. Okay, that's our wisdom, except for they have put distortions in it. And so you got to be able to tell the truth when you, you have to be able to feel when you read in the Bible, because when you can feel, you will hear, you will notice the truth. The truth don't need no proof because it can be felt. But if you're not connected to your body, you get enslaved by it. You get enslaved by it because you're not feeling into it. You're just blindly following it. So our people using Christianity, is our pathway in. And the reason why I say that is because how many times did they pray Psalms? How many times did they pray this? That means that that's what they used to do. That is their instinct because they embodied Christianity. That's their instinct. And so you get that Psalms book when you working your roots, because that's you engaging with Earth's energy. You have to consistently be engaging with Earth's energy. Okay? Because we create through demonstration. That's why I say we ritualistic people. We create through demonstration. When you go to the gym, you move in weight. When you wash your hands, you release in weight. When you doing a spell, you're just aligning yourself to Earth's energy. You're opening a portal so you can align with the frequency of where you're trying to go. And so because they spend so much of their energy into Christianity, use it to your fucking benefit. Get that spell book of the Psalms, get Psalms. And when you do your prayers, do the prayers they did. Why? Because they already invested so much energy into it, which means they can impact. They can move within that energy because it's their instinct. They put so much energy into it that when you pray it, boom, it takes off. Because they already know where that button is. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Because I have it's a little blue book. I don't think I have it up here with me, but it's a blue book and it's like all of the Psalm verses and what they mean and how they help you or whatever. Yeah, the Bible is beneficial. It really is. Because the Bible is our shit. The Bible ain't they shit. The Bible come from the Sibyls. The Sibyls were prophetess. When they talk about the Oracle of Delphi and how people go up to that mountain and it's a lady in a cloak and she looks very old and the crone, they're talking about us, right? Because the crone is the eternal self. That's the ancient energy that's inside of you. That's Earth. The crone is the all-knowing. The all-knowing is Earth. This is her shit. We used to worship Earth. We used to worship the eternal. Earth is eternal. Earth can't fucking die. Earth can't fucking die. Earth is eternal. She keeps regenerating herself. She keeps going through these cycles. I've been reading The Great Cosmic Mother. I need to get around to that because I feel like that book has come up 1,000 different times. But I like to try to get my wisdom from me. You know, like I like to sit with myself and try to get my wisdom from me. Because it's part of me learning how to trust myself. And also like, too, when I'm getting these messages, because I'm actually going to start doing like live sessions where I'm like live channeling. I think I'm gonna start doing those on Wednesdays because Wednesday is better for communication. just so that y'all can see like what's happening in the process and like the stuff that I'm getting in real time. But I think I might put that behind a paywall. Powers of Psalms. Yes, thank you, Sunshine Baby. But I think I might have to put that behind a paywall because like nothing too crazy. It'll probably be like 33 because 33 is my number. And so it'll probably be like something like 33 or something like that. But can you speak on the belief in Jesus? So Jesus is a fallacy. And I did like an astral worship episode, but Jesus is an egregore, and the egregore is an energy that you could create. It's a spirit that you could create. And I think that it was created by a practitioner, like a black magic, white magic, whatever the fuck you want to call it, a practitioner. And so what happens when you create an egregore is like if it's created by a practitioner, they can control it, which means that they're amassing energy. Because you got to think about the West. The West is trying to amass and hoard energy, and energy, that's our truth. Our truth can be hoarded. Our worth can be hoarded. Visibility, our silence can be hoarded. Like those things can be hoarded. And so Jesus is not a way for them to hoard energy, because they tell you if you have a problem, you need to talk to Jesus. If they have a problem, you need to tithe, right? And so they're extracting your energy without giving you anything back in return, which puts you in a state of imbalance, right? And so Jesus was created first in the 14th century, and his name was just Jess, like Jes or Yes. It was Yes because the J's were not in existence yet. And so in the 14th century, what happened is Christianity started coming about, and they were telling this story of Yahshua. And Yahshua was a melanated being, and he would have hated Christianity because he was not a Christian. He didn't believe in religion. He was just teaching, right? He was unalived, but not in the way that they show us, because he was not a being that could be killed, because his body could kind of regenerate. And so what they tell us about Jesus is all fragments of different stories. Like for example, him being on the cross is a fragment of Prometheus, the story of Prometheus. But Prometheus, they say he was tied to a rock, but if you go back to the actual plays that they were doing in real time, he was tied to a tree. He was tied to a tree, right? And so the image of Jesus is Caesar Borgia, who was the lover of Emperor. I don't know why I'm hearing Theodosius, but I don't think it was Theodosius. I think it was I don't know why I want to say Alexander the Great is what I think in my head, but I keep hearing Theodosius. So he was the lover of an emperor at the time who was trying to colonize the people and try to get everybody underneath one God, one order, one everything, right? Which is the masculine way, because we're triplicity, where they usually look through one lens. And so the image that we see is Caesar Borgia, but we see this crown of thorns on his head, and that crown of thorns actually comes from ancient Egypt. What we used to do in ancient Egypt is we used to use the Nile River to figure out whether or not we were going to have abundance during the wintertime, or whether or not we needed to save money. Or save food, not money, but like food and stuff, And so what they would do is they would stick a stick into the Nile River, and they would put like a line across. And so what would happen is if the water levels rose above this line, they were going to have a prosperous winter. They were going to have an abundant winter, whatever. But if it stayed below that line, what they would do is hang the deity of starvation on it. And the deity of starvation was a man who looked very skeletal with a crown of thorns on his head. And so what we look at every time we pray to Jesus that's on that cross that looks very skeletal with the crown, we are praying to a deity of starvation. Yeah. And so, because the body remembers, the mind doesn't remember, but the body remembers what that is. Okay. And so what happened in the 14th century is, you don't look like you're starving. Wait, what you mean by that? Because I don't believe in Christianity, so I don't know how that would make sense, because yeah, let me just block you. Because sometimes I really, really like chaos. I really, really like chaos. You know? but I ain't gonna let you unearth me because you came here to be a distraction. Okay, that's what I thought. Um, Sorry, my mama is coming up out of me right now. I'm trying to get my mama to go back in there. My mama trying to come out of me like Buddy Love, and I'm trying to get her to go back in there, girl. Go back in there before you have to cuss her ass out. Don't do it. All right, I'm back. So, anywho, what happened in the 14th century was that they were just going by like yes or Jess or whatever. She's just jealous. I felt it into the room, don't we? Yeah, see, I didn't even see nothing she was saying besides that. Don't respond to her. Don't I don't need suggestions, y'all. I don't need suggestions on how to show up. Because I got me. I'm the authority in my life. I'll decide how I respond. And I am not a person who believes in either good or bad. I'm a balanced person. Sometimes I will choose violence and sometimes I will choose peace. Depending on what version of me is showing up that day is what the fuck you're gonna get. So I don't need management or anything like that. I appreciate y'all trying to look out, but let me manage me. Okay. But what happened back in the 13th, 14th century is that they were preaching Christianity, and what people were doing was they were bringing like tithings to these old temples, and the old temples are our temples. The temples they call like Hercules Temple and like all of these other things, those are the temples of the Sibyls. Those are not the temples of the gods. Those are the temples of the Sibyls, just like the Vatican, which was the main temple of the Sibyls. And that's why it's called the Vatican. The Vatican means serpent lady, which is what they used to call them, right? Because they were in line with their Kundalini energy. Their energy was able to move up and down their spine. So they was able to bring spirit into this reality, right? And so what happened is that all these people was like cutting themselves and they was carrying these crosses up these hills because they were trying to prove and perform devotion, right? Yes, baby. They were trying to perform devotion, and then they told them that somebody would be coming out of the clouds with a trumpet, you know, and we would all get to heaven. And what happened is that did not fucking happen. That didn't happen when they said it was going to happen. And then people started killing the priest. And so Christianity kind of went back underground into the 17th century because people started killing the priest. And that's what led us into the Enlightenment era, where esoteric knowledge started coming back to the top, right? And people start looking back into Thoth and like things like that. And so what happened in the 17th century and why Christianity came back was like Christians started like recruiting people, but they were recruiting the poor and the uneducated. Okay. And so they would go and do these public speakings, and they would speak only to poor people and people who weren't educated, because those are the people they could control and they could influence. Okay. But they were using the University of Alexander at that time too. So before they found out that nobody was coming out the sky, they was using the University of Alexandria to colonize the people of Egypt, because the Greeks came in under Alexander the Great, and they stole this piece of land that used to be called Rhodes. Now it's called Alexandria, but it was called Rhodes. Rhodes sits on the water, and so it was a great place for them to trade and barter across the Mediterranean Sea. And so once they changed Rhodes over to Alexandria, the Egyptians who was already living there, they didn't fucking like that shit. And so there was fighting amongst the people. And so they had to colonize or unify the Greek people with the Egyptian people, you know? And so what they did is they created the University of Alexandria. They created a school so that they can teach them how to exist together, right? And so Christianity was a part of that until, it was a part of that. And then when they found out no man was coming out that sky with the trumpets, they start killing the people. They closed down the University of Alexandria so that only specific people could come through the University of Alexandria, right? And so it became like more of like a secret societies closed thing than an open thing. And so during this time between the 14th and 17th century, we have Judaism, we have Catholicism, we have Christianity. And so what happened was that the Christians were still operating, but they were operating like the Ebionites. And the Ebionites was a Christian Jewish faction. Okay. They were people who would go into your house and burn all your books and say, repent, repent, and like place the cross up against your head. All the shit, crazy shit we be seeing in movies. That's what that's how the Ebonites used to move. And so they would actually reward them because they were dominating and conquering people into Christianity. They were making people revert to Christian or convert to Christianity because they was running up in their house, burning their fucking books, telling them to repent, kidnapping them. Like, it was just a whole bunch of crazy motherfucking shit that was going on. And so they started rewarding them for the Ebonite. So the Christian culture is based in this Ebonite energy. And that's why Christians are always trying to get you to do it their way. That's why Christians are always trying to conquer you through shame and through fear. It's because it's ingrained in the very energy of Christianity, right? And so what happened in the 17th century was Constantine. Constantine was a fucking tyrant. He boiled his wife alive just because he fucking could. He killed one of his own sons. He killed his nephew. He killed all the other emperors because he wanted to be the only emperor. Okay? The motherfucker was crazy. This will be on YouTube, y'all. I'm recording this on YouTube and TikTok at the same time. So you will see this. If you want to see this again, it'll be on my YouTube. Okay? If you're not following me on YouTube, it's BIGTAJJ. But Constantine was a fucking tyrant. Constantine killed all the other emperors, and then he went to his church and he asked for absolution. And they said, hell fucking no, you murderer. You can't just kill people and then come ask us to absolve you of your sins. He was trying to spiritual bypass. They refused him. And so what happened is he killed the priest. He killed the priest that refused him, and he went to the Christians and he asked the Christians, would he basically be saved? And the Christians said yes. Why? Because they were ignorant. They were uneducated. They were basically, the group of people that they were getting were poor people, because they were selling them on the fact that you don't get to live well now, but when you die, oh my gosh, the future is so vast. You'll be walking through golden streets and fucking, that was manipulation. That was control. Right? And the poor people who had nothing to their name, no knowledge, no education, no nothing, they just went with that shit. They was like, okay, well, if that's how they started selling. This is spiritual bypassing, by the way. They started selling you future prioritize, future success, future happiness, future. That's what they do right now through the work system. They sell you future happiness through retirement, even though they're trying to kill you before you get to retirement. We ain't even got to go there. All right. But the Christians told Constantine, yes, of course, you'll be absolved of your sins. And Constantine went back and told the people he saw a message when he was looking at the sun that said, rule under Christianity. And so he converted to Christianity and he became the spokesperson. But the problem was that Constantine wasn't a Christian. And so Constantine only honors the Father and the Son. He completely cut the mother out. He completely cut out the mother. And he said the Father and the Son. The Father, the part of Christianity that worships the Father is Orthodox Christians. Orthodox Christians worship God. Okay? The Father. But Eastern Christians or regular Christianity, the Christianity that we know today, Baptist, Protestant, whatever the fuck you want to call it, they worship the Son, which is Jesus, who they call Jesus. Right? But that's a fragmentation. They left out the mother completely, but Constantine wasn't Christian. So he didn't, I don't know if he did this intentionally or whatever the fuck happened. And so during that time, it was important for the Christians. And the reason why the Christians told him, like, yes, because one, they were manipulators, but two, the Roman church started killing them because they had accepted a state religion. And the reason why they accepted the state religion, because the Christians was running around like the Ebonites and trying to get people to convert and killing people. And they needed justification to start killing the Ebonites and start killing the Christians. Right. And so the Christians were dying. They were fighting for their fucking life. They were dying because the church was killing them, because the state was killing them on behalf of the church, And so when Constantine, the emperor, who just conquered everybody else, says, hey, will I be absolved? Christians jumped right on that motherfucking shit because it put them next to who was God adorned to rule. It gave them access, right? And so what Constantine had a mama, her name was Helena. Helena was very good at finding things. And so what Constantine decided is that he needed to find a temple, and the temple is what we call the Holy Scepter, right? The Holy Scepter, whatever, and that's in Jerusalem. That's what Helena went out to find, and so she found the Holy Scepter, and she said, "Oh my gosh, what's so crazy is I actually found the cross that he was hung on in the Holy Scepter." Bitch, no, the fuck you did. But the reason why they needed a temple is because they remembered, they looked previous history. People would come and tithe at temples, and people would give you their money freely. People would willingly come in. The women would mourn, the men would give gold and stuff. And so it was a scheme set up by fucking Todd. It was a scheme set up by Todd. And Constantine came in and said, "We got the date wrong by 1,000 years. Actually, it's not going to happen for another 1,000 years." And that's why the calendar was switched, right? And so they say, "Yeah, we got the dates wrong by 1,000 years. Sorry." He's going to rule under Christianity, right? And that was the Council of Nice and them getting all that stuff together to figure out like how they was going to run. And what's crazy is Constantine was so fucking fickle. At first, he had like two people who was guiding him. One of the guys is the guy who's like very, very known in the Orthodox Christian community. At first, he went the Orthodox way, and he was saying that anybody who was practicing the other way, like he was having people go into their house, burn their books, things like that. But then that guy pissed him off, and he switched sides and turned against Orthodox Christianity. And that's why we have this Christianity opposed to Orthodox Christianity being the leading Christianity, because he ended up flip-flopping on his own motherfucking people. But anywho, but in the 17th century, that's when Jess became Jesus. They added the us on the end. And I forgot what the broken up words mean together. But they had to create him as the 10th incarnation, because they had colonized Egypt, and they had unalived and ate most of their leaders. And so they don't know what the 10th incarnation was, and everything that they do, all the knowledge and wisdom they had was stolen when they colonized Egypt. It was from them burning down their libraries and them taking their scrolls and them basically trying to they was eating because they're the cannibals. Like, they're the cannibals. The Phoenicians, the Romans, the Canaanites, them is the same fucking people. And so they used to think that if you eat their heart, or if you eat their body, then you would basically take on their wisdom and their strength. And that's why they ate black people. That's why they were eating black people. They were eating the mummies too. They just found a 5,000-year-old or $500,000-year-old mummy that was growing yeast, and they decided to make bread out of it. Bitch, are you okay? Something ain't right. Something ain't fucking right up there. Something ain't fucking right up there with them. But anywho, that's why Cleopatra hid her body, which I really don't think she got away with it. I really think that they found her a long time ago and ate her. But that's why Cleopatra hid her body, because they would eat them for their wisdom and their knowledge. Because it lives in the body, it lives in the DNA. And so they thought that if I consume this, I will have access to it. Kind of like how we drink tea, like because we are earth. You got to realize we are earth. And so you know how like we are no different than the plant. And so you know how we take peppermint and we put peppermint in the tea and we soak it in the water and then we drink it, and then we get the properties of pepper. That's what they were trying to do, but with our bodies. And so basically that's what happened. That's how we got Christianity, through fucking tyrants. And then Emperor Theodosius came behind Constantine, and that's where we get the whole idea that everything has been demonized and everything is witchcraft, like crystals, which crystals are really Earth's bones. Your bones are crystals, and that's why when you hear truth, you start to vibrate. You get shocks. When you get goosebumps, that's the vibrations. That's the confirmation. That's your body reacting to the truth, right? They're crystals. It's like you're finally singing in harmony, with the truth. We know the truth because we sing in harmony with the truth. The truth can't be denied to us. But they demonized crystals and tarot, because tarot was the tree of life. They put the tree of life in a card playing deck so that they could keep the knowledge. Just kind of like Plato. Plato talked about Atlantis, but he put it under philosophical fiction, because if it's fiction and it's not true, then technically they can't get rid of it. It's a creative protection thing, And so tarot is really the tree of life. It's teaching you how to walk through the soul's journey. Crystals have consciousness. There are beings inside of crystals, and they will tell they are what spirit told me is that not bookkeepers, but like vaults. They are like, this is like, there's information programmed into this. And you can, because there's information programmed into earth, because when we knew that we were going to end up forgetting, we put it in the earth, in the trees, in the crystals, in the rocks, we put all the information we need in earth, because if we reconnect with earth, we never lose the information. The information is in earth, and so crystals, same with that. But Theodosius outlawed anything that he deemed to be witchcraft, and he went around and he was killing people who he felt like held eternal knowledge. And he was using like the Salem witch trials was a way for them to steal land from women, because the only way that women could get land back then is if their husband died. And so they would go around and claim that the woman is a witch, which really she just was a healer. Everybody was in tune with earth. It was our way of being. Everybody was actively engaging with earth. And so they would just kill them and take their land and say, oh, they're a witch, and burn them alive. They literally burnt them alive, because fire is purifying, and fire is also a symbol of the masculine energy. And so, yeah, it's a crock of shit. It's a crock of shit is what it is. And so there's a book called Astral Worship by J.H. Hill. It was written in like 1980 or 1880, something, one of those two. I get, I'm like dyslexic with numbers. I can see it in my head, but it don't come out that way. And so it's one of those two. But he wrote this book, and what he did is he went around to the churches, because the churches used to keep our historic records. And so he went around to the churches, and he went through all of their archives, and this is what he discovered. And he talks about like all of our everything we consider to be a holiday, everything that we celebrate, all of that comes from ancient civilizations and them worshiping the sun. And because they worship the sun, but really technically we worship the earth, they worship the sun. So yeah. Melanin is associated with depth, memory, survival, and carrying lineages through your body. Okay. So depth, they used to eat us for wisdom. Memory, survival, and carrying lineages through your body. The West has severed their relationship with the dead. Ancient Egypt studied the dead. The Tibetans, the Mayans, we all used to study the dead, because that's how the whole purpose, what everybody was doing was trying to figure out why we were here, right? And so they were studying the dead or the unknown to be able to do that. They were working with the spirits to be able to do that, right? And the West got scared, and they turned their back and they ran. And so everybody in the West is spiritual bypassing, because our whole civilization is built off of the fear and the inadequacy that men were facing with being incompetent, with not being a part of the creation process, and with not having access to spirit in the same way that women do, with the womb versus the, because they're a fragmented version of us that were disconnected from the womb. That's why they have dicks on the outside instead of dicks on the inside like us. So what I got from that is we constantly go through death and rebirth cycles. We're denying death because it is where transformation comes from, meaning that we're trying not to womb envy. Absolutely. We're trying not to evolve. That's the problem that we're having in the West. And so struggle, tension, conflict, all of that is how transformation happens. It happens in the uncomfortable feelings, but the West is trying to bypass the human experience by living above it, which is living in the mind. We don't make men do shit. They journey is their journey. Our only journey is ourselves. When we fix ourselves, we fix the men, because the men are our mirrors. They're showing us how disconnected we've come from ourselves. And so we need to do our work, and they work, and let them do their work. Right. And so creativity, again, I feel like this message right here, we are constantly going through death and rebirth cycles. We're denying death because it's where transformation comes from. Struggle, tension, and conflict, that's what happens in the hood. And that's why we have creativity out our fucking ass from the hood, in the hood, right? Also, conflict is what builds closer bonds. That's why we need to learn how to communicate, because conflict is how you tell people how they can support you. Okay. I do have classes, but I don't open school back up for open enrollment until September. I always, September 22nd of every single year is when enrollment starts for my embodiment school. The school is teaching you how to embody. So the first year is about learning how to feel safe in your body, re-engaging with earth, re-engaging with your body. So we learn about the structural things you need to kind of understand about the body, and then we practice it. And so right now we already made it through the first series, which is information. We're moving into the second series, which is intuition within school, which is them actually practicing it, them going through a mirroring stage, because I'm going to basically show them through school how consciousness moves. And so they're going through this, they already went through conceptual knowing. Now they're about to go through applied knowing, which is the mirroring stage, and also working with the elements. And then embodiment is the last part of that first year. The second year is about learning the chakra system through which energy is moving through the chakra systems. Because if you understand energy mechanics, you understand everything. You understand exactly who in front of you. You understand what energy is moving through your body and things like that. And so second year, the first part of the second year is about giving you the information that you need. The second and third part of the second year are about mirroring, practicing, and then embodying. And then the third year is mentorship. The third year is the embodiment year, because also how I'm going through these cycles within school, because school is 9 months. So it's 3-3-3. And I'll take them through conceptual, applied, embodied knowing in every single year. But it's also year 1 is conceptual knowing, year 2 is applied knowing, year 3 is embodied knowing. And so year 3 is about mentorship, why you build the life that you want to create based off the truth you now know about yourself, right? And so it's like a mentorship that helps you navigate while you're trying to learn how to trust yourself. In second year, you actually learn how to develop your gifts too, which is what truth is there. Because we think our gifts are like something so outside of, no, you're literally just trying to feel if you could feel what the truth is. That's it. You know, so I'm helping you through like developing your gifts and stuff like that. And by the end of year 3, once you go out into the wild, you should be in tune with yourself. You should be walking as your truth, you know? And so I was going to do that because that's a 3-year cycle. I wasn't going to open up school again until 3 years, until I was fully done with this group. But Spirit is telling me I can't do that. And so September, I'll be opening enrollment. And the first part of that is going to look a little different because I walked these people through, because that was my first group. And I didn't necessarily know what I was doing yet. I was just following what Spirit was telling me to do. That became clear this weekend. But I'm going to do it as like a self-study. The first year, the first 3 months of school is going to be a self-study, and that's going to be your initiation to see whether or not you can get into the school. But it doesn't have to do with your worth. It's just showing me where you are when it comes to how dedicated you are, devoted you are to yourself. And so initiation, a lot of people can go through the initiation process and not get to the second part of that. But yeah. And so September 22nd, applications will go up. I also make it available for you to start the initiation process. And then come December 22nd, once you go through that 3 months, September, October, November, December 22nd, a month later, after you get done with that process, whatever, I'll let people know who gets into the program. And then school starts March 22nd, but between January and March, we'll be holding presence sessions where you just come and we just kind of get to know each other. We just kind of get comfortable with each other before school actually starts. Dream interpretation is not part of the school, but dream interpretation comes from symbology. And so technically, once you understand everything, because the second year of school is about pattern recognition. The first year of school is about your body. The second, feeling safe in your body. The second year is about recognizing the patterns. The third year is about living from your truth now that you've recognized the patterns. And so in the second year, we will be talking about symbology and stuff like that. But dream interpretation, really, you need to be building up your own grimoire of symbols, because Spirit is only going to talk to you based on your experiences. So I wouldn't know how to interpret your dreams because I'm not having the experiences you're having. They're full of clues that you would understand, not me. I can, because I'm a medium and because I have really, really high pattern recognition, but that's your work to do. That's not my work to do. That's your work to do. So I'll be opening up school in September though, for y'all to start applying if y'all are interested in that. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Tension is what happens when you're moving between selves. It helps you to discover your needs. And so anytime you're in transit, you're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be tense because you don't know what the next steps are. And we get very uncomfortable when we don't know what's to come, or when we sense something coming, which is intensity. You know, when we sense intensity, that's actually us getting what we receive. But so many of us are afraid of intensity because the last time we had an intense experience, it was when our mom and our daddy was fighting. And so we try to block out the intensity, not knowing that's our abundance coming, you know? But anyways, and so it helps us to discover our needs. And it's where clarity about the truth comes from. It comes from the tension. It comes from the uncomfortable. It comes from you being in transit. Clarity does not come before you start moving. And that's the spiritual bypassing I'm talking about in the West. We try to figure out what's the perfect step to make, so much so that we don't move at all. Right. And so we try to figure it all out in our head before we start moving, but you don't know what potential energy you're moving with until you start moving, you know? And so the West fragmented and chose fear over truth. That's the problem. The West chose to forget instead of remember. And everybody who didn't forget, everybody who remembered, they enslaved women and melanated beings. Because melanated beings are indigenous. Melanated beings are indigenous. Not the people they showing you on TV, because the world is a stage. Melanated beings are indigenous. Why? They contain Earth's energy. Earth's energy is melanin. It's melanin. And you can see it on us. It's melanin. Melanin is what keeps you from fragmenting. And that's why they was taking them white kids to that island and not black kids, because it's harder to dissociate a melanated being, especially a fucking child, because their capacity is higher. They don't have all the restrictions and limitations. It's easier to fragment a white body because it has less melanin. Those are star beings. And so they're really just fragmenting the star beings, which is insane. But, you know, some of us are hybrids, though. Like me, I'm star and I'm earth. Okay. And so in ancient Greece, daimonia just meant spirits, intermediary forces, or guiding intelligence. Okay. That's what they called demons. But in ancient Greece, they just meant spirits, intermediary forces, or guiding intelligence. Before and you got to understand that the concept of good and evil is new. That was not always around. Yes, I do readings, but I just actually took down my oversoul design readings, and I just took down my mirror flame readings, because the only thing I want to do right now is consultations and divinations. And consultations and divinations are only for people who are kind of stuck on their journey and they don't know how to create movement. And so what I'll do is do a consult with you where I'm trying to figure out what your fears, your patterns, and things like that. And then I go and I sit with spirit and I do a divination, and I record the divination and send it back to you, basically telling you what spirit is saying is the issue, and then giving my recommendation. Spirit will tell me if I'm able to do any type of spell work for you. And if I can, I'll let you know. But sometimes spirit says no. I got like a no the other day, because spirit said that she was going to continue to be devoted to being invisible and choosing silence. And so spirit will tell me whether or not I can help you. And but I also got a yes the other day as well. It's only $150 for a divination, y'all. And that's the divination and the consultation and divination. And then if you need spell work, it's another 150, just because, again, I'm doing the work for you. And so if you're interested in that, my website is www.bigtajj.com. But yeah, anyways, can't wait to get your spiritual course. Yes. And so I'm 10 minutes behind right now, but just wanted to say that this is mind blowing. Love every minute. Oh, period. All right. So we didn't have a concept of good or evil. My YouTube is BIGTAJJ. Everything for me, y'all, is BIGTAJJ. So Big Taj. The only thing that's TAJJJ is TikTok. Every other thing is 2 J's. TikTok is 3 J's, which I'm going to have to look into this. Somebody stole my name on TikTok. I'm going to have to look into you, girl. I'm on that. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, it's Big Taj on everything. Even my website is BIGTAJJ. Everything is that, just so we can keep it simple, straight to the point, cute, you know, get all the semantics out the way. And so we didn't have a concept of good and evil until Christianity became a big thing in the 17th, 18th century. Before that, we didn't think of it like that. What if I want to do the work on my own and I just need a kickstart? That's okay. I'm not a gatekeeper. because humans gatekeep, and we had to do that out of necessity because we were being killed. Like that's why a lot of African spiritualities are closed practices, is because we were being killed, because they were saying witchcraft and just using that as an excuse to unalive us because they didn't believe in what we believed in, right? And so all of us had to go underground to kind of protect that wisdom, but we're not in a space where we need to be underground anymore. Spirit itself does not gatekeep. We gatekeep as people, and so if you get the consultation and divination through me, I will give you advice on what I will be doing right now. I will tell you what work I will be doing, but yeah, I give you advice on what you need to do right now and what spirit is saying you need to do to kind of get yourself into alignment. So yeah. And then if there's something that they recommended, like a road opener or whatever, I'll tell you what they're recommending, but you're going to be responsible for doing your own. Like if you want to do your own spell with that, that's perfectly fine. I'll tell you what spell to do, but the mechanics of the spell is your work to do. On TikTok, yeah, send me a DM. I'll look after I get off here. All right. So anyways, we didn't have a concept of good and evil into Christianity. And so good and evil is really, with Christianity, they labeled it as divine, something that's divine versus something that's demonic. Okay. Yeah, so I actually did a whole series on that, Reese. I'll circle back to that. Remind me in a second, because I'm gonna finish this and then I'll come back to that. And so Christians said that either you're divine or you're demonic, right? And so before we had this concept of good and evil, we believed that spirits were helpful. We believed that some of them were harmful. We believe some of them were complicated or ancestral or territorial or trickster spirits. It's like we understood like there's a vast variety of human spirits, humans, and how they behave. There's also a vast variety of spirits that behave that way as well, because you got to think that usually the spirits are beings who used to live here, but they died. They died and they were anchored into Earth's grid. Because they're the history, they're the story. They experienced something. Earth holds all the stories, right? And so they're just like humans. People think that people die and grow fucking angel wings. That's a motherfucking fallacy. No, the fuck they don't. Your granddaddy is still a drunk on his porch, smoking cigarettes, chain smoking cigarettes, and drinking 40s. I promise you. I promise you. I actually channeled somebody's granddaddy that was doing that. Like they're still their same self. They're just living on the astral plane. They're just living in the spiritual realm, And so death is how we explore the unknown or mysteries in life, and how we get into rhythm with nature and its cycles and its seasons, right? So those who remembered were feared by those who had forgotten. People who chose to dissociate. People who chose mind over matter. Whoo! That was T. Don't let that go over your head. People who chose mind over matter. Okay. Is there a need for us to help our ancestors heal? You help everybody by helping yourself. Okay. And so you are your ancestors. There's no separation between you and your ancestors. You are the continuation of them. You are like the next chapter in the book of everybody who came before you. And that's why they call it a family tree. Everybody's on the tree. You are just the physical part of the tree while they hanging from the branches. But your ancestors are you. And so when you heal yourself, you are healing them, because how you feel is how they felt. It's just that they chose silence. They didn't speak up about it. They chose to master their mind so they can numb it. But how you feel, the reason why you go through separation within your family is because that's how your ancestors felt. You have to get in the environment to figure out what needs to be done, right? And so you have to live it to understand it. And that's why everything that happened in the first 25 years of your life is your initiation, is shaping you, is showing you what this generation decided and the impact that it has, so that you can become the version of yourself that embodies a different truth. Because people are not just repeating these generational curses because they want to. They're repeating it because they have not seen anything else work. They haven't seen any other reality, and we are in an environment. We are in an illusion that tells us there's only one reality. And so they followed the fucking script. It's your job to dismantle that shit, because we came to transform and grow, and we have chose comfort over evolution. And so you heal your ancestors through healing yourself. They get to live vicariously through you. They get to teach and help you and all of these things vicariously through you. And so when you're doing healing for you, you are doing healing for them. You are doing healing for Earth. You are doing collective work. Deja fucking vu. I've been having deja vu for 3 days. I guess I'm really moving in it, ain't I? But yeah, so you heal them through healing you. So yeah. So the West has the fear of the unknown driving their society. That's what I heard. The West has the fear of the unknown driving their society. And that's when I said, wait a second, why are you saying they? Because like, even when I was talking about women, when I was writing this, I kept getting they. And I was like, who is this? And that's how I found out that the Pleiadians have been leading me, which is crazy because I did a podcast. I told you I did a podcast and I don't do podcasts. But one of the books that she gave me, Earth, Pleiadian Keys. What are the fucking odds of that? And in here, landing in the light body, galvanization of the goddess. Earth is your home. Redreaming the living library. What are the fucking odds that she would give me this book? Okay. And the Pleiadians have been guiding me for a while, for the last 3 years, actually. So yeah. Yeah, did you screenshot it, friend Mika? Did you screenshot it? You're welcome. And she also gave me this book, Initiation by Elizabeth Hayek. It's an autobiography that brings together the life story of a 20th century woman with the full measure of events and experiences that contributed to her spiritual growth. I'm writing a book right now. So I think the Pleiadians told me that they're trying to help me write my book, but my book is about me. I can make it real. I can make it because I wanted to write a book that's mythic realism, meaning like I want it to be like a parallel to Earth. But they are telling me that they want me to write it about me. Like I am the center story. I already have the story. It's my life, but it's as if it was like a mythical reality when it's really just our reality. So we will see, because I don't know, but I have a whole book. Like if I show y'all my notes on my book, y'all be like, this lady is crazy. I am. I have the first characters. I have everything. I have everything that I fucking need, which is insane. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Let me write that down. Hold on, y'all. 1 second. That's a good idea. Why would you say that? Hold on. Wow. Ooh, that's gonna eat down. All right, I'm sorry, y'all. Sheesh, that book is gonna be crazy. Now I understand. Now I understand what they was getting at. Now that just anyways. And so the more melanin, the more you can feel, because Earth is a deeply feeling being. Okay. And so when I was getting this, I was like, okay, so then why does the world hate Black people? That's the question I asked. And I got, because Black people remember and they keep trying to get them to forget. They tried to beat it out of them, unalive them, enslave them, but they still remember their way back home. Because it's hard to fragment somebody who has melanin, because they're so ingrained in Earth's energy, and Earth is a stabilizer. And so they just keep trying to re-traumatize you and bury you, because they cannot get you to stop to forget. So they bury you. Because what I heard was that we're technically the higher self in this reality. If we're going based off of color, off of race, the higher self in this reality is melanated beings. The lower self is unmelanated beings. If we're going off of sex, the higher self is feminine, the lower self is masculine. So yeah. And it's because we remember we're deeply ingrained in earth because we are earth, right? And so us being put into houses was very intentional because it disconnected us from earth. We understood this place better than anybody because we were here first. This was our place, you know? And so we are the mirrors they keep trying to fight. We are the mirrors they fighting. The spirits are the mirrors we fighting. We are the mirrors they fighting. Okay? We like fucking weeds. Yes, we are like weeds, bamboo root that's growing too fast and they don't want to grow. And so they keep trying to pluck us. And the memory lives inside of us. And that's why they don't care about killing us, because the memory lives inside of melanated beings and women, the feminine energy. I'm not going to say women because some women incarnate as more masculine than feminine, because there is no gender. Gender is a spectrum. And what I mean by that is we all have masculine and feminine energy inside of us. You know, we are our souls are oh shit. My bad, YouTube. Our souls are non-binary. And so like what we experiencing with the LGBTQ plus community is they're trying to show us that our souls are non-binary and that we get to choose gender. Gender is a construct. And it's really, we're supposed to be fluid in our gender. We're supposed to know when to use feminine, when to use masculine. We're not supposed to be choosing or boxing ourselves into one or the other, right? And so gender is on a spectrum. It's not one or the other. And that's the problem, is that we got stuck in this linear way of thinking: good, bad, divine, demonic, you know, white, black, you know, left, right. All of that is not how we were supposed to be perceiving. That's how the masculine perceives, right? That's how we perceive through up here, through the higher self, which is limited. It's a limited version of us. Not the higher self, but that's how we perceive through up here, or the ego. That's what I want to say. The mind, the ego, past, future. And we never in the present moment because we too busy in the past or the future, you know? And so it's separation. Yeah, separation. Did we create Earth? I actually don't know that. Well, the Pleiadians are saying yes. We as in melanated beings. And I don't know why yesterday they told me Earth was an illusion. It's a dream. Earth is a dream. Oh, okay. They just connected some dots for me. Earth is a dream that we created. It can't be destroyed. Yeah, I'm gonna get there, y'all, because I wanna kind of go based off of how they're giving me the messages. But what y'all saying is important, because when I sit down to channel, because I channel, you know, like I have to channel this. It's not stuff that I'm just pulling out my ass. When I sit down to channel with them, those questions will come up and they'll answer those questions for me. I just gotta open myself up to be able to receive it. But anyways, we are the mirrors they keep fighting. Transformation. We are transformation incarnated. Okay. Earth incarnated, earth embodied. And so accountability and integrity in motion, that is us, melanated beings. Accountability and integrity in motion. Okay. Wisdom and divine source awareness made visible. Wisdom and divine source awareness made visible. They need us to prove and compete, because that's what causes disembodiment. Okay. So they need us to constantly be in this place where we're trying to prove our knowledge. And that's why every time we say something, they're rejecting it. And they use science as a way to spiritual bypass, because they say if it cannot be proven in science, it does not exist. Thank you. If it cannot be proven in science, it does not exist. And so they use their systems to spiritual bypass. And so every time that we say something that feels like a truth to us, they are saying, no, that doesn't exist. Oh, you can be in jail. You can be put in jail for that. Oh, that's a lie. Oh, that's misinformation. Oh, you know, and they try to silence your truth because they're trying to control the truth. They're trying to control the truth. That's the only thing that's freed us in this world is our truth. And they trying to control it. They trying to monopolize it. They trying to decide what it is for us so that we don't have to remember, right? And so they need us proving, and they need us competing with them so that they can show us, no, see, I'm the winner, you're the loser. See, I'm right, you're wrong. That's their way of thinking. That's not our way of thinking. And that's why black people are not competing with white people. White people are coming in and stealing the shit from us because they're competing with us, and we don't know that we're competing. Everything is a competition. They say everything is not about race, yet in still they make everything about race. It's gaslighting. They gaslight us. They use narcissistic abuse to cause us to doubt ourselves, because if they can get us to doubt ourselves, they can get us to forget, because we'll just choose silence. Or they get our bodies to turn against us, because when you suppress yourself, your body is going to find ways to try to get you to not suppress your motherfucking shit, which looks like cancer. Cancer is trying to help you. It's trying to say, hey, look right here. This is where you need to be focusing your attention, because we haven't turned our eyes inwards on our body in a long time. We can see inside of our body. We need to put the awareness on the inside of our body. That's how we heal, right? And so they need us disembodied, and they need us competing, because then our worth is up for grabs. Our worth can be controlled, right? Because our worth is in our truth. Our worth is in our depth. It's in who we are as people, not in what we can produce. But they want you to believe that it's in what you can produce, because if it's in what you can produce, they can grade you and they can destroy your fucking self-concept, your worth. They can destroy your self-concept and your worth. You know what I'm saying? And so they needed us proving, which is proving what we know, like constantly feeling misunderstood by people. So we try to prove it to them. We try to convince them of what it is. We're constantly trying to save them for themselves. We're trying to get it to see our way, right? That's intentional. And then competing, comparing ourselves to other people, because it creates negativity. Negativity is unprocessed pain. It creates reactivity, which is unintegrated shadow. It creates envy, which is you abandoning your gifts. Okay. And when you avoid the inner work and you neglect your potential, you project chaos. Okay. When you avoid the inner work, spiritual bypass, and you neglect your potential, not moving based on your truth or your desires, you project chaos. So they turned y'all into agents of chaos, us into agents of chaos, right? And so they need you competing, because that's what causes disembodiment, and it distances us from our own truth. Now we're living in a false reality. Now we're living in a reality that was created for us to live in, right? And so if we keep spreading truth and we are constantly met with rejection, we start to chase validation, because we can't see ourselves reflected anywhere, right? And we live in a mirror realm. And so we chase validation because we can't see ourselves reflected anywhere. And so we start to think something is wrong with me. That's shame. That's how they create shame. They don't let you see yourself reflected as good. They don't let you see yourself reflected anywhere, as understood, as supported, as valued. That's how they destroy your concept of self-worth. And so we don't see ourselves reflected anywhere. We start to internalize it because there is no time to process it. And eventually we silence it. But they can't stop the truth from emerging, because so they get you to doubt your inner voice. They can't stop the truth from coming up out of you. This is my journal. I'm not reading a book. This is my journal. This is the channel message I get. These are channel messages that I've been getting from the Pleiadians and my oversoul, which is 2 beings instead of 1. And so this is channel. This is a message that was just coming through me yesterday. I just been writing it down, and you see, I get to writing crazy because I'm just like trying to get it all down. Okay. And so they can't stop the truth from emerging. And so they need to bury it. And they get you to do it by causing you to doubt your own voice. Right. And so eventually you don't feel safe saying anything anymore, because you're constantly being rejected. Yeah, I know who the 2 beings are. It's my higher self and my eternal self, which make up my oversoul. And so it's my Anja and my womb being connected to each other. And they have names. One, my higher self's name is Amara. My name is Sarah. And my eternal self is Lilith. But that's because that's the archetype that I'm moving through, which is Taurus and Scorpio. And so Amara would be equivalent to like Isis or like Venus or Aphrodite or any of those goddesses. And then my eternal self, which she is not motherfucking nice. She told me that I don't have no self-respect. And she also told me that she couldn't talk to me until I got some fucking self-worth. When I say she ate me up, oh, wait a second, sister. Please relax a little bit. But yeah, she ate me the fuck up. And she didn't play no fucking games. When I started trying to talk to her, she turned me every fucking way. But Lou, she said, you don't have a problem in relationships, you have a problem with self-respect. If you get self-respect, you don't got no problems. Girl, please. It's 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. Relax, please. And then she told me that I don't listen, which is true. And that I get my worth through knowing, and that I needed to stop spiritual bypassing before that she could actually talk to me. And she told me that, yeah, I couldn't talk to you because you don't got no self-worth. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? That's so mean. But it was true though. So I ain't even mad at Sister Girl. She was really only telling me my truth. It just was like hard to hear because, girl, I'm over here fucking bit the fuck over, heaving and throwing up, and you talk about you ain't got no fucking self-worth. Please stop it. Okay. So yes, I do know what archetype I'm playing out, because we're playing, it's already decided. Everything is already decided. And you can see it in your astrology chart. You can see it in human design. You can see it in numerology, which is your life path. Is in everything. And it's all informing you. And so like the map to your awakening, when things are going to happen, when energy moves through you, when you have the astrology. Astrology is how you align with the rhythm of Earth. Astrology. Human design is how you figure out how the energy in your body, how you're energetically designed. Right. And then numerology is the foundation of the universe. It's how everything works. The archetype everything goes through, which is that 1 through 3, which is conceptual knowing. I'm sorry, embodied knowing. 4 through 6 is applied knowing. Sorry, 1 through 3 is conceptual knowing. 4 through 6 is applied knowing. And then 7 through 9 is embodied knowing. I love that you're on live. I must have done something right today. Yeah, it's just I haven't been on live all year. I used to go live all the time last year. I just haven't been this year. And it's been 6 months too. I haven't been this year because I was being prepared for this moment. And in my head, I heard very clearly on the 13th, which is the priestess day, by the way, it's time. You're ready. And I was like looking around. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? This is what that means. Disclosure comes through us. It does not come through anything outside of us. We're not going to see disclosure on the news. This is the disclosure, right? It's through us. It's through you embodying your light and you speaking your truth. We are disclosing in the next 7 years. That's why I keep on saying disclosure day. It's Uranus and Gemini. It's the next 7 years. It's Pluto and Aquarius, right? That's the disclosure. It's the energy that we are moving through. It's the energy that we are moving through. We're allowing to move through us. There's nothing, the things that we see on the news, the thing people we think that runs all of that is an illusion. None of that shit is real. But anyways, slavery played a huge part in that, in conditioning us, into beating it out of us, into helping us to forget, because they tried to use violence and conquering and domination to make us abandon our self-worth, our self-loyalty, and our self-trust. Okay. Now our self-worth is in a chakra that sits in our anal cavity. Okay. Self-worth comes from your root. It comes from earth energy. Okay. And so your root has minor chakras, and one of the minor chakras is in your anal cavity. Okay. And so if you think about what them celebrities are doing, they're trying to crack open their root. They're trying to crack open their wealth codes so that they can magnetize, because earth magnetizes, so they can magnetize. Okay, next. Anyways, but I also think that that's why they was raping men when it came to slavery, like the breaking the bull, training the bull, or whatever. They were trying to fuck up that concept of self-worth. The same thing with raping women, because women's womb is ran by the sacral. The sacral is water, and the sacral needs consent. If the sacral does not have consent, it fucks up your concept of self-worth. It fucks up your access to your life force energy, which is creativity, emotional energy, and sexual energy. So Gaia, yes, but she goes by many different names. But Gaia is one of them. She also was Tiamat. She also was no, is that true? Hecate, which is a threshold walker. She also has been Kai, planet Kai. She's also been a Tara or Terra. Sophia. She's been a lot of different things. What happened to people violated at you? I'm not teaching about spiritual awakening. I'm just giving channel messages from the Pleiadians in my soul team. And so they created trauma and chronic stress through fear and intimidation, turned us against our ancestors through religion, conditioned us through schools, separated us from our leaders, our protectors, and people who are relentless through prison and police brutality. Our leaders, our protectors. Hey, Jamira, I'm good. How are you? And then they stunted our growth through high death rates while we giving birth, heart issues, food, all the shit that they do, right? And remind us consistently through the media, which threatens our ability to feel safe, right? How can I learn the basis of what you're sharing? Do you have a book? I don't have a book. I'm in the process of writing a book though. And I also have a embodiment school. It opens in September. I'll be taking enrollment in September. But yeah, they constantly are threatening our safety and our concept of safety through media, which I also think about like crime docs. Crime docs are only women being killed, women being murdered. You know, police brutality is usually Black people being murdered, being unalived. I think those are both tools to keep us in this state of subconsciously seeing that we are not safe. I'm glad I caught your live to watch you do. Oh, thank you, boo. So basically, the West are the losers. West are a bunch of losers who had a fear of inadequacy and a fear of the unknown, and they ran for their motherfucking life and created a whole society based off of that to enslave other people and to condition them to forget as well. Ain't that some shit? That's what I said back to them when they was giving me this message. I was like, so basically, the West are some losers. And they said they're the ones who gave up on trying to grow and evolve, which is our life's mission. They conquered and they dominate to feel secure in their own inadequacy. I said, well, that's tea. We like that. That's some crazy shit, you know? And so that's why they are more obsessed with winning and hierarchy, because they are chasing worth outside of reality. They're chasing worth outside of reality because reality comes from earth energy. Reality is earth, right? Which means you got to live reality. If you're not living reality and you're only thinking about reality, you're living in the potential of something. You're living in the concept. You're living in the awareness. You have awareness of it, but you have not moved. You're standing in place while just looking around you and noticing all these things, right? But you're not doing anything with it. Therefore, you're not embodying it. You're not going through the process of evolution, which is conceptual knowing, applied knowing, embodied knowing. You have to go through the process. If you're not going through the process of trying, then you are spiritual bypassing. You have to be trying. You have to be trying because trying is how you move. You have to be practicing because practicing is how you move. Do you believe in the archons? Archons. You mean like the dragonoid, the dragon beings? Is that what you mean? The dragon, like the dragon looking beings? Well, are you putting a doc together with just reading everything? No, so I literally I get channel messages and I've just been writing them down, and I'm just going to start sharing them because my team is telling me I have to share. I have to be visible this year for the next 7 years, really. But they gave me like 3 months to get my feet underneath me when Uranus moved into Gemini. which I think was April 25th or something. April, May, June, or 2 months to get my feet underneath me. Because I think it happened before and then it went out of Uranus and back into Uranus. Wanting our energy from fear. Yes. So Monsters Inc. is very much so us. Is there a spiritual difference in the human race, black and white? Well, they're different beings, you know, like kind of like they're different types of cats. They're different, they're just a different being. And so white bodied beings are star beings. And so what was happening on Earth years and years ago is that there were polarity experiments, right? People were doing their own experiments. And so you had the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Andromedans, beings from Venus, beings from Sirius A and Sirius B, like all of them were trying to create their own bodies so that they could play this or embody into Earth, because Earth is closest to the spiritual realm. And so all of the wisdom that exists in this reality is here, right? And so not everybody can get on Earth. Like, you waited in line for this shit, and then we get here and we don't appreciate that shit because we live in an illusion, right? It's not our fault that we don't appreciate it, but we are closest to God here, right? Or to spirit here, to the infinite, to the eternal here, right? And so so many beings are trying to become embodied here because they all have their different missions and their own shit that they working through. Like, you can play with angelic codes here, you can play with seraphic codes here, you can play like everything, right? And so a lot of different beings were trying to make their own bodies. And so, but they didn't want them to be black bodies because they wanted to be able to control them. And so a melanated body is hard to control because melanin stops you from fragmenting. Melanin doesn't cause dissociation as quick as not like the lack of melanin. Everybody has melanin. Everybody has melanin that's on Earth, because the only way you can be here is through melanin. Melanin is what connects you to Earth, right? Gravity. Why are you saying that? Magnetic intimacy. Oh, they gave me a message about this yesterday. Hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. Root working or spell crafting is magnetic intimacy, which is gravity. Gravity is how you stay close to Earth. Wait, so what was I saying before that? Melanin. Earth's energy is melanin. So when you are spell crafting, you are using her Kundalini energy to manifest. You're engaging with her, and that is necessary for her evolution because she evolves through your embodiment. And you evolve through awareness and truth seeking. Ain't that some shit? Well, that solves that one. You have to be engaging with Earth at all times. You have to be engaging with Earth at all times. But through what you do every single day, through what you embody, you engage with Earth. And so what you do is important. What you embody, the truth you live from, that is important. Ooh, I just got chills up the back of my neck. That is important. We are ritualistic people. We are embodying spirit, right? And the spirit that we're embodying is a part of Earth. It's one of Earth's archetypes. It's what Earth needs to evolve. We are what Earth needs to evolve. And so what we do every single day, what we make our habitual actions or our habitual rituals is either going to connect us to her or move us away from her. Right? Yes. Okay. But it's more than that. What is it then? You have to trust. In her as you trust in yourself. Because she is not separate from you. She is the eternal. Wait. Oh, so the polarity of energy that we experiencing, like Amara, my higher self, is above me. Every time I talk to her, she's above me or she's coming through my heart. But no, she's above me. Sorry, she's above me. My eternal self is my womb. My womb is earth. Your womb is earth. Yes. Earth is the void womb. Your womb is what connects you to spirit. The water womb is your sacral, which is grace. You got to learn how to give yourself grace. The void womb is your heart space, which is neutrality, and your fire womb is your Anja, which is stillness. Oh, and so the connection is through the womb, the water womb, but the eternal self lives in the now moment. Yes, the eternal self lives in the now moment, which is in your heart space, the void womb. Earth is the void womb. Your void womb is in your heart space. Your heart space is where masculine and feminine energy come together and they neutralize each other. They're both spirit and matter working as one. The infinite, the eternal. So through divine union, you grow and evolve. But you have to stay present. And part of connecting with earth is stillness and listening, because that is receptivity. You have to be in a receptive state to live well. You have to be in a receptive state to live well and to connect with the all. The void is nothing and the water is everything. And so your body is important because it contains your heart and it contains your womb. Okay. Your heart and your womb is how the infinite talks to you. Okay. And so the void is nothing. You have to know that you are nothing at all and you know nothing. And so when Erica Badu says, a wise man knows that he knows nothing at all, that's her speaking from her eternal self. Okay. You have to know that you know nothing, you own nothing, you should be attached to nothing. But the water womb is everything, is love. Your womb is love itself incarnate. So water is expression through love, and void is expression through wisdom. No, water is expression through love, and void is wisdom through stillness, and fire is expression through fragmentation. Oh, the mind is what separates us. The mind, which is what's causing the separation. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to come back to this later. Oh, it's the fragment. I know that. Oh, your higher self is a fragment of you. It's the fragmented self. It's the self that's trying to get you to where she is because I'm the fragmented self. Yes, no, we are the fragmented self. We are the fucking fragment. We are what fragmented. We were never supposed to incarnate into this low of an energy. And we have been stuck because we went too far into density. The eternal. The eternal is density. Oh, the water, the stories, the stories. Because the stories are our memories. We have been searching for answers too far. Wait, No, that's not right. The part about us being the fragmented self, we've never supposed to incarnate this low. We have been stuck because we went too far into density, the eternal. Oh, with our awareness, without integration. We know too much without actually living it, without actually embodying it. We're bypassing the body. Ooh, why? Why? Wait, what role does that play in it? Oh my gosh, it's because of sadness. One of the reasons is because of sadness. Sadness blocks off your heart space, it closes your heart off. And your heart is how your eternal self speaks to you. Sadness disconnects you from yourself. Grief is held in our lungs too. And we've been carrying the sadness from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime because if somebody does not feel it, it never gets healed. And so the sadness is weighing us down. It's acting as like an anchor. The sadness is anchoring, it's making us more dense. The sadness is heavy. So we're buried underneath sadness. They keep telling me to call it grief. They keep saying grief. Sadness causes you to sink instead of move forward. Oh, sadness points you in a direction of down. We have to alchemize it. That's why you can die from a broken heart. Because it's not only your heart that's breaking, it's every, it's all of the weight that you're carrying. You become too dense and you pass away. Um, Fasting does help you. Yes, fasting helps because it brings you back into the light. It releases some of the density. Also, sound healing helps. Sitting in stillness, sound healing because sound healing bypasses the mind and goes straight into the body. Your body speaks the language of sound. The universe is a symphony working together. So sound healing absolutely helps with the density, especially the lower, like 100 to 400 is density. 400 to 600 is pain. Integrate. I think I posted something about this. Hold on real quick, y'all. I can give y'all the sound frequencies because you need different sounds for different things. Hold on, y'all. Eyes don't fail me now. Wait a second, y'all. I know I have it in my phone. Oh, I have it in my Akara folder, my school folder too. Hold on, y'all. All right. Yeah, 147 hertz is definitely one of them. Give me a second. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to see if I pinned this, and if I did, then I can just give it to y'all. Fuck. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. I'm not gonna stop because I'm relentless until I find what the hell I'm looking. Here it is. I found it. Okay, don't ever give up on your dreams. All right. And so 147 hertz is to remove pain. Y'all can hear me on YouTube, right? Give me like a thumbs up or something on YouTube. Somebody. All right, so 147 hertz removes pain. 285 hertz influences your energy field. 396 hertz liberates you from fear and guilt. 417 hertz facilitates change. 432 hertz is the miracle tone of nature. 528 hertz is to repair your DNA. 639 is to heal relationships. 741 is to awaken your intuition. 852 is to attract your soul tribe, is to make you magnetic. And then 963 is to connect you to light and spirit. Okay. Okay. And so 174, I'm not going to prove anything to y'all. If y'all don't believe what I'm saying, just don't believe what I'm saying. The work is for you to do. I will give you my truth from my perspective. You have to do the work at discovering whether or not that is true for you, period. Please do the work. Do yourself a service. Don't just blindly follow people. Okay. I only listen to frequencies from Chakra Vibrations, Meditative Mind, or Ninad on YouTube. Those are the only 3 stations I use because some of the frequencies are not attuned correctly. And I can tell because I can feel energy in my body. I am a medium. Okay. No, I don't have it on my page, but I'm thinking about, because I got a Patreon, I have a TikTok and a YouTube membership that I have not been using. And so I think I might just start dropping like little shit in there. And so if y'all want to be a part of that community, just give me a second to kind of get it together because I needed to jump on today, like immediately. And I didn't really think about anything outside of that. Okay. So 174 removes pain. 285 influences the energy field. 396 liberates you from fear or guilt. 417 helps you to facilitate change. 432, miracle tone of nature. 528 repairs your DNA. 639 heals relationships. 741 awakens your intuition. 852 attracts your soul tribe. 963 connects you with light and spirit. It's important that you understand this because your body, every single DNA strand in your body is attuned to a music note. Every single chakra system, every single chakra in your body is attuned to a music note. Music is the only thing that can bypass the mind, which is the barrier into the subconscious mind. That's why they use music. The music industry is so hijacked because it programs your subconscious mind. It goes directly into your subconscious mind. Okay. So use sound to your benefit. I've been sound healing for 3.5 years. It is what happened to me in the last 4 days is that I've been removing the energy from my heart and from my upper chakras. And now the voices are clear as day. They're clear as day. There is no looking for something outside of myself. I can hear me clearly. Amara and Eternal, those are both me. Okay. Amara is the star part of me. The Eternal is the earth part of me. Okay. Or Lilith, whatever you want to call her. Though this is the star part, this is the earth part. We are we are stardust and matter. We are the steel point and the meeting point between stardust and matter. We are how stardust and matter embody together. Okay. Yes, this will be my YouTube channel because I go live on YouTube and TikTok at the same time so that I can just post it directly to YouTube after this. And I'll probably be putting this on my podcast too. So if you follow my podcast, Becoming No One, it'll probably be on there as well. Yes, the last two. 852 is to attract your soul tribe. 963 is to connect with light and spirit. Just one R. Amara is Mara. And when I first came across Amara was a year ago, on my probably like a week before my 33rd birthday. And what was interesting about that is that I named my soul Amara like 3 years prior, and I didn't know why I named my soul Amara. I just felt like my soul needed extra protection. And since everybody knew my name, I would name my soul something else so that when I pray over myself, I pray over a different name. And I chose Amara. And I was like, that's basic. When I chose that, I was like, that's basic, but whatever. Turns out that's my oversoul. And when she's seen in spirit, she has on this crystal headpiece, a crystal gown, and crystal shoes. And she was the high priestess of Atlantis, is what I was told. Like, she was sent down here because she trained in Venus, Sirius B, whatever. She was sent down here to stop us from fragmenting. But she was actually overtaken in a temple. And I actually just found out my temple priest who betrayed me is somebody who's in my life right now. So the person who betrayed me in my previous life is in this life with me right now, and I have them close to me. And I did not know that. And so that's wild to me. But yeah. The problem that we have is that so many of us are remembering these past lives. So many of us are remembering things, but we're doing nothing about it. We're doing nothing about it. Remembering is not enough. You actually have to do something with what you are remembering, which is insane. But yeah, my team cussed me the fuck out yesterday because they was like, hey, this is the person who betrayed you last time, right? And I'm like, well, people can change. No, I really like this person. I really love this person. And they like, all right, you're going to fuck around and find out. So I've been seeing Segment a lot. Means a lot. And she's strong, stern, but loving once I begin my work. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, y'all, is I'm going to, because they're giving me the archetype. I have the archetypes for everything. So based on what your sun, moon, and rising tells you who your higher self is, your eternal self is, and how you're supposed to create the safe environment. Those three things together tell you how your consciousness, how you perceive as consciousness. You're the three that became one, right? And so the two, your sun and your moon, are incarnating into your first house, your rising sign. They're incarnating into your first house. And so the environment that your sun and your moon are because your sun and your moon are your whole self. Your sun and your moon, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, coming into your first house, which is the environment. You are responsible for setting the environment. Okay. If you're a Sagittarius, you need to be expanding. You need to be adventurous. You need to be seeking knowledge. You need to be exploring. If you are a Libra, balance. You need balance and harmony you need to figure out how to show up for other people without abandoning yourself. So I'm going to be talking. So this is going to become a series, y'all, because there's just too much there's too much in this book from 2 days. This is all I have from 2 days. Hold on. Let me show y'all how thick this is. This is what I have from 2 days. It's crazy. It's crazy. And when I sit down to channel, just how y'all see me channeling in real time, that's my whole day. My whole day is just message. Like, even when I'm trying to go, I have to tell them to stop. I have to have boundaries with them to be like, stop. I'm trying to get in the shower. I'm just trying to wash my ass. Leave me alone. But this is what I asked for. And so I'm happy with this. But yeah. And so the West is living in dissociation and fragmentation. Yes, I do personals, but I don't do oversoul design readings anymore, just because that's a part of embodiment school. The only reason why I was doing that is because it was preparing me to teach from that place. I needed to do it enough and practice it enough to realize, oh, this is energy mechanics. Let me teach the energy mechanics. And so I'll be teaching it through Soul School, but I won't be doing readings for it anymore because, to be quite frank, as much as I enjoy learning about other people's energy, I just think that it was teaching me pattern recognition. Like, it was literally teaching me how energy works and how energy moves. And I needed to see it enough in other people to notice it in my real life. And so I'm a Taurus, Scorpio, Libra. We're all of the signs, y'all. We're not just one. We're all of them. I will be ready for embodiment school. Yeah. And so embodiment school is going to be, there's an initiation process. There's a 3 months of self-study, and how well you do in self-study is going to determine whether or not you move on. Cause I need to see if you're devoted to yourself before we start doing the work together, because it's just I can't help people who don't have self-worth, is what Lilith told me. And she's my truth. And so I got to listen to my truth. And so there's a lot of people who, as a concept, like the idea of this, but as doing the actual work, no, because it feels like you're dying. It hurts. It's not a fun process. And not only that, while you're dying, the spirits is whooping your motherfucking ass, because just got how you have to have physical experiences the first 25 years of your life. From 25 to 50 is your spiritual experiences. You got to get jumped into fucking spirit now. And and the only way for you to learn is for you to have experiences that feel good and experiences that are bad, because you don't learn until something bad happens, And so it's not fun. It's not fun. It's not an easy process. It's going to require you to be devoted and you want to show up. It's going to require you to want to show up. And it usually takes 3 months for somebody to stop pretending. And so in my soul school, even this time, I knew that. And I went in and we did everything slow. We started with information, because if you can't get past the information, you damn sure can't get to the intuition. Because how are you moving? You don't know how to move if you don't have the information, if you don't have the awareness of something, right? And so a lot of people fell off. I think I started soul school with 44 people, and I probably have like 30, 33, 34, 35 of them now. So like 10 people have completely fell off. And it's supposed to be that way, because you can only pretend for 3 months. But it will realign you with your truth. Okay. Because I am a medium. Whatever, you can't hide shit from me. Nobody can hide shit from me. If I abandon myself in this life, it's because I chose to. I've always seen things very clearly, but I never felt comfortable seeing things clearly because I was constantly being rejected. Most people can only put up a facade for 3 months. And so if you are there after 3 months, it's because, like in soul school, it's because deep down you want it, but you're afraid, And so I had to lose my mind to find it again. Yes, that's the thing. You have to separate from earth to eventually come back to earth. That is a part of it. That's a part of the process. It is literally the process that you chose to go through. The spirits were going to teach you and help you to learn and to choose your truth. That's what we came here to do, is to choose our truth. So anywho, we've been dissociated and fragmented, which means we've been spiritually bypassing, creating false realities, which are potential, living in the potential of something. And that's why when you look at science, everything is a theory. Gravity is a theory. The out of Africa theory is a theory. Pretty much all of our science is a theory. A theory is a concept. It does not mean that it's true. It means it's a possibility. And we move from theories all the fucking time. We move from concepts all the fucking time. Why are we moving from a concept? We don't know that that's true. And we will be so attached to that concept that when we see, after we've lived the experience, that it's not true, we will deny our own knowing for the fucking concept, because the concept feels safe, because everybody else is believing that. The truth never comes to the light if we are so fucking gullible. I hate to say it that way. How do we get past the fear aspect? You got to learn how to trust yourself again, because fear is only telling you that you're brushing up against the unknown. You don't know how to handle this. And so if you're experiencing fear, you need more information. The only time you're afraid is when you don't know how to navigate. And so if you're afraid, you're brushing up against the unknown. You're brushing up against the mysteries of life. You need to go towards the fear, feel the fear, because the fear is real. Feel the fear, but fear is a threshold. Don't make the decision from the fear. Still do what you want to do scared, because until you start doing that, you don't know what's true. If you move from the fear, you're moving out of your wounds. You're moving out of safety, Capricorns. Cancers, because Cancers is emotional safety. Capricorn is structural safety. You know, we don't like change even more so when it's unexpected. Yeah, we don't like to change because change you have to go through this process of illusion. Every single time that you change, you have to go through an illusionary phase, right? So yeah. And so we've been creating these false realities and living in theories and hypotheses instead of actually living through experience. We are supposed to be living through experience because we're spirit embodied, right? And so they want to control the process of evolution. That's what science is, right? And that's why they also try to control the birthing process, right? The only reason why women are laying on their back to give birth and not using gravity to their advantage is because a white man wanted to see what was happening while she was giving birth. It was a science experiment. And now we die giving birth because the white man wants to see what's happening in our coochie. You know, or men in general want to see what was happening in our coochie. Right. And a lot of things are because of experimental things, right? And so they hate that they're not a part of the birthing process. They hate that they're not part of creation. They hate that they're not connected to spirit in the same way that we are. And that's why we are enslaved people as women. And that's why everything with Christianity is womb envy. Christianity is womb envy. They want you baptized by a man's hands because you came through the waters of your mother. And they say, well, your mother could never remove your sins. I have to remove your sins. So bring your baby over here so I can christen your baby. And now your baby is saved by me, a man's hand. That's why most priests and leaders, religious leaders, are men, right? They want to dunk you in the water and say, now you're saved, but you came saved. They tell you covered in the blood of Jesus, but when you come out, you're covered in the blood of your mother. Your mother dies for you. Every 28 days, women die for the sins of the people who live here because the only thing that's here is us and our creations. And we're responsible for guarding our creation and protecting our creation. And that's why women have to alchemize everything. That's why when you have sex with somebody, you take on their fucking karma. You take on their fucking weight because you letting them use you as a portal. But I digress. Okay. Class is in session. Somebody just said class is in session. That was my grandma. That's funny. But this is what I'm saying. This is, you heal your ancestors by what you embody, the way that you show up, because they're always around you. They're always around you. They're always witnessing you. You're their favorite TV show, you know? And so they wanted to control the process of evolution. That's what science is. Trying to prove themselves right and trying to control truth in the evolutionary process. If they weren't, why would they create all these agencies to cover up their incompetence and create falsehoods to condition people not to think for themselves and blindly follow? Why would they need to condition you into blindly following them? Right? They want you to trade in your natural inheritance, which is your truth, and your natural human instincts for manufactured ones so that they can control you. This is scarcity, inadequacy, ego, spiritual elitism, delusion. We are choosing comfort over clarity, over truth, over integrity, over evolution, over embodiment. We are trying to escape the human experience. We are spirit, which is the awareness, understanding something as a concept, but we are also matter, which is embodiment. You have to live it to know what's true. It's the pathway through to abundance. And that's what's keeping you from your abundance, is that you're not living the experience. You have to be aligned with your truth to experience abundance. And abundance is the wealth frequency. The wealth frequency is a constellation of energies. It's self-worth, it's self-respect, it's trust, it's receptivity, and then you need a structure through which that energy flows through, meaning that you need to be expressing your truth visibly. If you're not expressing your truth visibly, abundance cannot come through you. So if you're choosing silence, you're probably going to be constantly chasing money, constantly chasing validation, constantly searching for answers outside of yourself because you're disconnected from source. And so what we're doing as a population is we're fighting each other for energy when we could just connect back to source, which is our truth, which means we have to stop demonizing the feminine energy, which is the body. The body speaks in sensations. It perceives reality through feeling. If you are not feeling, you are not embodied. Okay? And most of us will confuse our intuition with the thinking thing because we over rationalize emotions instead of actually feeling the emotions. And so we think because we're making the decision from an emotion that we had that we're intuitive. No, the fuck you're not. You're not intuitive. Okay? You're using your conscious intuition instead of your embodied intuition. You're moving out of distortion. You're moving out of distortion. And so the spiritual side of you is what notices. It is what is aware of something as a concept. And the material side of you is what expresses from what we notice. Okay? And so we are designed to share the truth from our experience. That is it. Share the truth from your experience. That is it. The information comes from spirit as a thought, idea, or desire. We make decisions to explore that as our truth and reflect using our body's perception, feelings, sensations, etc., which is going to be tightness, it's going to be tingling, it's going to be warmth. Those are feelings, those are sensations, to determine how it feels when we embody it, because we don't know if it's true until we embody it. And we embody it through the actions we take every single day. So only then will we know what is true, by living it and being honest about our experience. Being honest about our experience is important because we lack integrity as a people. We lack integrity. We are choosing comfort over evolution. We lack integrity. We're spiritual bypassing. We lack integrity. Okay? I lack integrity. Relax. Anyways, we need our intentions and our impact to match each other. That's divine union. And so you can't control your impact, but you can use it to refine your integrity. Meaning that if you did something that caused harm to somebody else, acknowledge that that did cause harm and refine how you're moving. You don't need to shapeshift, but you do need to clear up your intention with that person and let them know, like, hey, I didn't intend to doing that. I'm sorry that that impacted you. And if there's something you can do differently so that it does not impact people in that way, okay. But that's how we grow and evolve. And you can't control your impact, but you don't know your impact until you come into community with other people, which is why we need each other to grow and evolve, because you only know your intention. You don't know how it affects the population and the people around you until there's a conversation being had. And that's why conflict and communication is also important. Communication or expressing your truth or intention is how you make yourself visible. If you are not speaking up, you are not making yourself visible. You are choosing silence. You are suppressing yourself. Okay. The only way to make yourself visible is to communicate, because until you bring it from the inside out, nobody knows who you are. Until you bring it from the inside out, nobody knows who you are. And so those of us who choose aloofness is when you go into friendships and you just pay attention. You just watch what people do and you just monitor them without giving them too much of yourself. That's you trying to control through passive means, right? And that's a control mechanism. Just like intimidation and interrogation, those are control mechanisms. You're trying to control, right? That's why I keep saying in the chat, no, that's your work to do. That's not my work to do, right? But also victimhood. Victimhood is the other passive. You have aloofness and victimhood. Victimhood is the other passiveness. So if y'all haven't read the book Celestine Prophecy, please. Okay. That is a book that'll tell you about yourself. It walks you through the awakening process, right? And so if you are not communicating or you are not expressing your truth, like for example, your friend is telling you a story and you don't agree with the way that she behaved, but you kept it on the inside, you are not making yourself visible in that relationship. Right? We think the truth is the problem because the truth is what has gotten us rejected in the past. Right? And so we silence it. The truth was never the problem. The audience was the problem. You're talking to people who don't want to change. You're talking to people who don't want to move. You're talking to people who don't want to evolve. Stop talking to them, because you ain't going to do nothing but run yourself on a fucking hamster wheel until all of a sudden you are them. Talk to people who are where you are. The book is called The Celestine Prophecy. That book changed my fucking life. It made me realize that I was aloof. I was aloof in my friendships. I wasn't being visible in my friendships. And so I had a situation where somebody was viewing me away, and I didn't understand why they viewed me that way, but it was because I never opened my fucking mouth and said, hey, I didn't like that, you know? So we try to control energy and try to get our energy through each other because we disconnected from source. And so we're trying to steal energy from other people. And we do that through 4 means. Intimidation, we just bully them out of it. We dominate them, we conquer them. You know, that happens with narcissistic abusive relationships. You're being dominated. Okay. Interrogation, we ask all these questions in a very suspicious way. Aloofness, which is withholding. Aloofness is withholding yourself to see what they do first. Okay. And then the last one is woe is me or poor me, which is victimhood. Most of us have over-identified with suffering and victimhood because it's a way for people to willingly give us their energy without us needing to do anything. All 4 of those things are control mechanisms. It's how we control energy from other people. And it's hard for people to hear that because you think that I'm saying that what you went through wasn't a real thing and it wasn't valid and how you feel isn't valid. No, how you feel is fucking valid. But what you do with that shit is important. Because a lot of people are just re-looping in the stories, retelling the stories because they're trying to get energy from other people because they feel so depleted. And the only way they know how to get energy is passively. Victimhood, narcissism is a real thing. I know because I grew up in a family full of white women who use victimhood to their advantage. Okay? If they could play the fucking victim, they could steal your energy. That's why we got Karens. Energy vampirism. But anyways, that's what we do though. It's not our fault though. It's not our fault because we have been disembodied, right? Because we don't know how to connect back with source, we have to get energy. Our body is going to adapt. Our body is always going to adapt, right? When we don't have minerals in our body, that shows up as people pleasing. That shows up as tension and anxiety. That shows up as self-doubt. Okay? Those are all minerals within your body that you don't have access to. And so if you don't have access to that, your body starts to function in a different way to try to get access to it. Same with the energy. And so we are just in a fragmented state, in a state where we are fighting for resources and we're just stealing them from each other. We're just trying to bogart our way through, debo our way through it. You know? Yeah, reliving childhood trauma, you bringing that version back alive because you're not that version. You're the version witnessing that version. Every single day, you are a new version of yourself. Every single day, you start over as a new version of yourself. It looks like we're moving because we're aging and because of our belief systems. But we're really, it's kind of like that fucking, you know, like them books where you could flip it and it was like, it's a character moving. That's literally us. But that's a whole nother story. It's too much. That's too much. I'm not going there with y'all. That's a lot to explain. But we'll get there eventually because, again, I'll be doing these a lot. Like, I think I'm probably about to end this one because we only got about 3 more minutes. And so I'll finish this point and end this one because it's been 3 hours. I think I've talked about enough. I'm going to probably put this on my podcast too. But I'm just going to start randomly popping in. So if you don't follow me or subscribe to my lives or my YouTube, I definitely would. Because this will also be on YouTube afterwards. I'm also going to do a Patreon where y'all see me channeling in the middle of this. Like, I'm going to do sessions where I channel in the middle of this so that y'all can ask questions and stuff like that. And I can just get the answer for y'all. And so that'll be on Wednesdays, I believe. I think I'm going to do like 2 to 4 or something like that on Wednesdays to where I can answer some of y'all questions and see if I can get some answers from them. But you will have to be a part of my private community because I don't know if I want to do that live, just because when you're live, you're exposed to all these different people's, all these different energies. Even though I'm good at my protections, I don't want to make y'all targets either, you know? So yeah, but the West has been trying to protect ourselves from pain. And so we are also protecting ourselves from happiness. And that's what's happening. And so what we need to understand is none of this shit belongs to us. It is borrowed from Earth. It is borrowed. And so we shouldn't feel, we've been too busy trying to possess things and trying to control things than to experience them, right? And so we think we own too much. And that's the fucking problem. We come in with the same shit we leave with. Nothing. The only thing that we own is our truth. The only thing that we own is our truth. All of this is temporary and borrowed. And so we're arguing about access as if access isn't free to all. We lost the plot, which is scarcity. The access issue is a scarcity issue. We lost the plot, and scarcity is a self-worth issue. Self-worth is directly associated to earth. And so self-worth is what connects you to earth's energy. You have to have self-worth in order to be connected to the eternal, which is earth. And so we lost the plot when we started trying to label, define, and identify everything to try to figure out who owns what, who can have what. That's when we lost the fucking plot. No one owns anything but their truth, yet everyone is fighting to hoard energy or to control energy flow. Energy is infinite. We are the ones trying to make it finite. So we the fucking problems. Let me put a little mark right here so I know where to start next time. So yeah, that's what they said so far. I hope that y'all enjoyed this. Yeah, people always recommend the Four Agreements to me. I've been being recommended that book for about 4 or 5 years. I need to go ahead and read it. Because I had channeled something a while back where people was like, oh my gosh, this is in the Four Agreements. Like, oh, this is just the Four Agreements. And I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck that is, but this is what I'm getting from Spirit. What was short? Oh, the Four Agreements is short. Yes, it is. I'm actually reading right now. Oh damn, it's downstairs. I am into a lot of like the Spirits of the Water is what I'm reading. The Oracle of the Orrery is what I'm reading right now. There's something else. Oh, and Love Poems by Nikki Giovanni. That's what I'm reading right now, which I really, really love. I also have a book called Grape Juice that I'm supposed to be. Listen, I got a lot of stuff going on. No, I didn't have to change my diet. Your diet is a small fraction of the thing. It is a small fraction. And to be honest, I used to be pescatarian. I used to be vegan. I eat everything now. And so, no, it's just one piece of it. I had to move the energy that was stuck in my spine though. And because I had, which I'm done telling this story after this time, but I was attacked by black magic, and it was because you can be attacked by energies outside of you, right? Like people attack, like there are beings who have access to magic through occultism and other things. And I had like pissed one of them off because I was like talking about exposing like elites in the deep state and stuff like that. And like one of them did witchcraft, which is if you look into Ori, like when I'm out of alignment, witchcraft can happen. When certain people are out of alignment, there could be something wrong with their wound, or they could keep breaking bones, or like if you look into the Orishas, based on what Odu you have, whether it's positive or negative, it'll let you know like which what happens when you're out of alignment. For me, it's black magic, and so I got my ass beat several times. But that's what woke me up though. That's what led to my awakening, which my team told me I had to go through it. Like I got my ass beat for like 2.5 years, all different type of entities. And I'm now understanding that a lot of them were just helping me to, were just trying to show me like, hey, this is what you have to protect yourself. These are the areas where you need to protect yourself because you're wide open in these areas. So yeah, and so that kind of like led me here. And so no, I've always been a medium. Everybody is a medium because you are the mediary between the spirit and matter. Everybody. And so I'm not doing anything special. The only difference between me and some people is that I have embodied my knowing. Like I finally practiced enough to where it's instinct now. Yes, dancing saved my life. When I was in high school, I was suicidal. I was very depressed. I was just unseen, unsupported. And I took a dance class, and it was like the only class that they would offer. And I'm like, oh my gosh, well, I've been in drill team. I've been in whatever. And so I started dancing. And if it was up to me, I would have went the whole 9 with dancing. It's the first time I felt free and seen, and I allowed myself to be visible and take up space. It freed me from shame. It freed me from shame. And so dance is always going to be top tier for me. Because not only are you listening to music, right? Music bypasses and goes straight to the body, but you're expressing as that music when you dance. You're expressing as it. That is embodiment. It's an embodiment practice. And that's why our ancestors ritualistically danced and they stumped their feet, is because they channeling energy down. They're embodying their spirit down into their body. That's what they was doing in them fire rituals. And they was thumping their feet and they was having a good time and celebrating. That's bringing the energy down. And that's why I don't teach spell work like other people in the same way. Spell work should involve dancing, singing, fun, like practical magic. When they was in the house dancing to their music and doing that's what the fuck you need to be doing. But that's a whole nother story, you know? So yes, embodiment. It's an embodiment practice, dancing. Singing is another one, because you gotta be open to sing. Everybody can sing because you're a frequency. You're literally a frequency. It's just whether or not your instrument is distorted, because whether or not you can move energy through your body, whether or not energy is flowing through your body. Singing is an embodiment practice. You know, you gotta fully let the energy in order for you to sing the note. You know, so yeah, I do believe in that. I do believe in that. It's noon. And I never do a live this early. Maybe I need to be coming on live a little bit earlier. But I go to the gym usually when I got on live this time. Maybe I need to go to the gym, come back and get on live. I'm gonna figure it out, y'all. I'm still in process. What did you do to heal from black magic or the entity? Sound healing. Sound healing. You have, it's the sound, it's in the music, it's in the dance, it's in the sound bowls. Sound healing. Sound healing changed my life. I sound heal every single night for 3.5 years. I sound heal every single night, still to this day. I have not stopped sound healing since 2023, early 2023, 2020, maybe 2022. I think it happened in like March of 2023 though. So whatever, the day that happened is the day that I went through a black magic attack is the day that I started sound healing, and I did it intuitively, but I knew I needed to. And I did it for the next 3.5 years. And now all of the energy that was stuck in my body, all the places where I had contracted, because that terrified me. Like when I see myself in spirit, I would have like blood coming out of my eyes because I was so fucking terrified. Because I've had like master psychics and like healers come to me through my dreams too, and like try to tell me where I need to do the work. And they can't really heal you, but they can tell you where you need to focus your attention to heal, you know? And so like, but they can do stuff to kind of help you move it a little bit, to try to help you move it a little bit, but they can't, you know, do all of it for you because it's your work to do. Like even when you communing with spirits, when you communing with your higher self, they can't do anything for you because it's your work to do. So many of us are trying to look for relief. We trying to give the weight to somebody else so that they can do it. You need to do your own work. You need to first show spirit that you're willing to protect yourself before spirit will come in and protect you. You have to already be doing the thing, you know? So yeah, I sound healed. All right, y'all, I'm going to go because it's noon. I need to eat. I need to get myself together. I haven't even, it's Monday. I don't think I responded to no emails yet. I haven't done anything because I needed to just start, because I was a little nervous this morning, you know, about whether or not, you know, like how to do this. I was nervous, and spirit was just like, go and just start talking. Like just start talking. You'll figure it out as you go. And so I've been trying to lean on that, but I hope that this was useful. I hope this was helpful. I'll continue this. I'll probably, tomorrow I got a busy day. But I might hop on tomorrow. If not, I will definitely be on Wednesday. It'll probably be earlier in the day on Wednesday too. I'm probably going to keep it around 2:00 my time. So that's 5:00 Eastern, 4:00 Central. And so just look for me around that time. I don't want to set a time though, because I'm a little fickle. Like it depends. Like I got to be in the energy, in the mood to do stuff like this. And so, just if you're not following me on YouTube, follow me on YouTube, on TikTok, just subscribe to my lives, because, I'll just keep with these messages because it gets deeper. Like it got so fucking deep. They had me drawing shit. Like they had me drawing shit out. They was talking to me about astrology. They was talking to me about the animal kingdom and they role in our evolution, the elemental, like all of these are spirits that are helping us to evolve, and like how the old informs the new, and then the new heals the old. It's just that they've been telling me a lot of shit. We awaken through knowing, like our whole existence is based around our truth, because we're trying to know. That's what we're here to do. That's how you evolve and grow, is through your awareness, through your perception, right? My YouTube is BIGTAJJ. Um, yeah, I do. I don't have a live about the menstrual cycle, but we are going to talk about that, because your womb is your connection to everything. And so your womb is really, really important. You need to have an intimate relationship with your womb. So what I would suggest right now is, if you are not using a menstrual cup, you probably should start, because you need to be collecting your life force and giving it back to earth. That's what I do. And my plants are thriving. My connection strengthened. I started healing quicker, because earth don't know what you need until you show her. If you're connected from her, TAJJ, BIGTAJJ. If you're disconnected from her, she don't know what you need. She wants to help you, but P is stem cells. Life, your menstruation, stem cells. Your spit, stem cells. Those have to go into her for her to figure out what you need. You know? Oh yeah, because copper is Venus. Copper is Venus incarnated. Gold is the sun. Silver is the moon. What do I do with I put water in it, I dilute it, and I water my plants, because plants are earth. And so if I can't have earth, because I'm in a city, right? So I can't have earth available, so I need plants, because that is earth. Just like I'm earth, plant. I don't need I don't need the things though, because I am the thing. But yeah, you need plants, girl. Because plants stay connected to earth. Plants are very wise, and so are animals. Animals are wise, the plants are wise, the trees will take your pain from you, the water will take your pain from you, the earth will take your pain from you. You just need to put your feet in the ground, because you have minor chakras in your feet that help you to expel excess energy. A lot of us are just clogged the fuck up, constipated as people, and we constipated with a bunch of different spirits, and that's why we got all these fucking voices going on in our heads, because they in our waters. And the dreams and the visions are just trying to give us imageries and stories meant to help us to understand what we're feeling. And so they're not real. The dreams, the visions, whatever, they're not something that's actually happening. They're just trying to help to provide context for what you are experiencing, or what you're trying to go through, or the question that you have. Because really, everything that we experience is based off a question that we have subconsciously that we don't know that we have. And so until that question is answered, we'll keep repeating the same pattern. My YouTube is BIG, Bravo, Indigo, Golf, TAJJ, Tango, Alpha, Juliet, Juliet. BIG, TAJJ, Big Taj with two J's. My name is Taja, TAJA. Big Taj with two J's. I do add people to my live, but I just haven't. I think I'm going to do that more on Wednesdays. Because Wednesdays, I'm going to, thank you, Haja. Love you, girl. On Wednesdays, I'm gonna start doing like live channel messages, just to answer any questions that y'all have and see if they have any guidance or anything that they want to say. But also, they keep saying like y'all ancestors, and so I don't know if that's gonna turn into readings or what that's gonna turn into. Yeah, I think they want me to do readings on Wednesdays instead of like channeling messages through them. I can start that way, but I need to do readings, because I need to help y'all to reconnect and create movement. No, the question is specific to you. Only you know the question. That's what you're trying to figure out, is what question you have. What's your truth? And so the question, there is not one question. There are many questions that we have. Thank you, Jazz. So yeah, so I'm gonna be, I guess I'm going live Wednesday to do, I don't know if that's readings. It feels like I'm starting with a collective reading. Oh, I showed you yesterday. Okay. Please relax. All right. So sorry, they be cracking me up. But so what I'm gonna do is do a collective reading, And then after the collective reading, I'm gonna call some of y'all up to do readings. Does sharing this information ever take away from your energy, even with your protection? No, because it's my truth. It is literally my truth. And when you anchored into your truth, nothing can touch you. Nothing can touch you. And that's why it's important to find your truth, because if you don't know your truth, you'll be leaking energy. And leaking energy looks like searching for answers, trying to chase validation. Like all of that is you leaking energy. You're injured. You're wounded. Can somebody put my YouTube in the chat again? I'm not saying it again. I said it 1,000 times. I'm not. No offense to you. I know you just came in, baby, but I'm pooped on that. It's BIGTAJJ. Thank you, Jayla. Thank you. But no, it never takes away from my energy. I think this is the most clear that I've ever felt and the most energized I've felt in the last 5 years. Because when you are anchored into your truth, you are anchored into you are now connected. And so I have an infinite amount of energy now, whereas before I didn't, because I was leaking energy, And so when you connect back to the infinite, you do not get tired in the way that you get tired, because you always have this source or well of energy connected to you. And so these last 2 days, I've been getting my energy back in a way that I never fucking imagined. But the next 7 years are important. 2033. Until 2033, this is the work I have to do, is help y'all to embody, help y'all to get reconnected to your ancestors, speak my truth publicly and visibly, because it's not that people don't want to change. They just don't have another perspective. They only have a perspective that's based out of scarcity. And so we need a perspective that's based out of truth. And I've done enough of the work to be operating from my truth at the bare minimum. And it's been a long journey. I'm not going to lie to you. My journey was actually insane. And even the other day, I was still shedding, because I didn't realize that I had tied my worth to what I knew, and that I was spiritual bypassing through knowing, through spiritual elitism. I needed to see it in myself first before I can diagnose it in the collective. That one piece of knowledge changed everything, because it made all the other knowledge come into perspective. And now I can speak freely, because I'm not looking for, I know what the truth is. I see it now. Whereas before I couldn't see it, because I was still trying to bypass through spiritual elitism, which is living above the human experience instead of feeling it. Even though I'm like feeling it, I'm not understanding it, because I'm using the two as two separate things when they're one thing. They're one thing. And so through me shedding that and being willing to look at myself and realize that sometimes I get defensive about the truth, because I feel like I need to defend it, but the truth don't need me to defend it. The truth is the truth. And so either you're going to allow yourself to feel into it to see if it's true for you, or you're going to do your own self-discovery to see if it's true for you, or you're not. But it's not my job to convince you of it, because the truth is true. It's the truth, And so they needed me to see that. And so I released that. I released aloofness recently. I also realized that every person in my life is played a part to getting me to this point, which was really kind of crazy. Especially in these last couple of weeks, I've noticed that everything that's showing up in my reality is for me. It is the map. It is the clues that are leading me to the thing. Yes, Indigo. Will you be doing collective readings on YouTube or TikTok? Anytime I'm live, I'm on YouTube and TikTok. So both of them. Because I want to get on Instagram, but Instagram be playing too motherfucking much, and I don't got time for that. And so YouTube and TikTok is what it's going to be moving forward. And so, yeah. And so I just wanted to start the conversation today, because they told me you start tomorrow. And I was like, no, I don't want to start until the 22nd. No, you start tomorrow. And then I get up, and today is 6/6. Today is June the 15th, and 1/5 is 6. So it's 6/6, 2026, and I'm a 6 energy. And so they said, just start tomorrow. And I was like, no, I don't. And I said, okay, fine. But I had to release my shame too, because I realized that I wasn't connecting to my womb, because shame was standing in the way, the shame of being a woman, because I felt like I was in danger being a woman, because all I see is women being killed and abused. And, growing up in a family or a dynamic where my mom was a single mom and she had to fucking struggle. My dad was basically punishing her for not being with him after he was abusive to her. It was just like, I just take this womb back, take this pussy back. I don't want that. I don't want that. You can have it because it comes with too many fucking problems. And so I had to do something about the shame that I was feeling about being a woman. And then also I grew up in a household where again my dad wasn't there. And so my brother was trying to be my daddy. My mama was really on me about being fast. And like, you know, like I think everybody was because I'm like 6 foot. I got big titties. I got a big ass. And they were just like, that shit started showing up at 11. They was like, what the fuck is that? You know what? Ho, don't be no hoe. And I'm like, damn, a bitch can't have titties and ass. What the fuck? So I became hyper aware that I was in danger of being a woman and that people could take advantage of me because my mama was somebody who was abused. And so she was just trying to protect me, but it just made me feel unsafe being a woman. And then it's like, don't be a hoe. So it made me feel unsafe being a sexual being when that's your Kundalini energy activating up your fucking spine. When hold on, let me tell you what they told you, what told me yesterday about what horniness is. Hold on. Because they had to get me to see it first to be able to give me the information, you know. And so hold on. Okay, hold on. It was so interesting though. I think they said it was like it's in my phone. Hold on, because I got notes everywhere because they just don't stop. They just don't stop. And so they said, wait, is it in my phone? Hold on. Oh yeah, we still got some good shit to go through too. I'm gonna smoke, and I smoke too, y'all. They told me they don't have a problem with me smoking as long as I set my intention before I smoke. Not cigarettes though, because they said cigarettes is poison. But I smoke weed, and Blueberry Dream been my best motherfucking friend. Right? All these things that we think is bad for us, yes, they are like in a way, but they are. If you do enough of the good things, it balances out the bad things. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't all be in the shithole. You can't be poisoning yourself to the max, but you know, we just gotta kind of work with what is, you know, because this is where we live in right now. Um Hold on, y'all. I really should tell. Okay, hold on. Here it is. Yeah, they said we live in as the dead, and that's the fucking problem. The spirits is in our body. Um Women, we have to know our worth because we are source embodied, divinity embodied, triplicity embodied. If anything wants to be birthed in this reality, it has to come through the feminine portal first. And because we are the midwives and the guardian of this experience, we guard the gates to the infinite, to the beyond, to mysteries, the mysteries of life. And so if they want to know how to grow and evolve, they have to come through the feminine. And that's why they hate us. All right, hold on. Anyways, I'm gonna tell you what, it's built up concentration of energy that's not moving, right? And so it's life force energy. It's supposed to help you to create. But when you suppress your sexual nature, meaning like you're trying not to be horny, you're trying not to, you don't get that motherfucker off, you are literally just concentrating your womb. Your womb becomes full of energy that is unprocessed and unreleased. You need to be releasing that shit because it's how you manifest it. And once you release it, it will clear the connection between you and your eternal self. You know, so flick that bean, sister. Is what I'm saying. No, that's funny. Wait, I don't know where I wrote that down, but they talked to me about this yesterday, unless it was in my dream, because it might have been in my dream. But yeah, they said horniness is like your energy is telling you that your womb needs clearing. Your womb needs clearing, you know? And so, you know how like you cry? When you cry, your heart, is it your heart or your throat? Your heart. Oh, it's moving sadness. When you cry, you move sadness. So when you cry, you release the energy that's stuck and concentrated in your heart. Oh, and a headache is when it's concentrated up here. And so a headache is your third eye. It means your third eye is blocked. When you cry, it's because your heart needs to clear. When you're horny, it's because your womb needs to clear. And those are the three wombs in your body. Yes. Okay, that's true. Because they told us it wasn't safe for us to pop this cat, and that's the problem. Is they trying to control where we put this cat and who we put this cat on, and that we gotta. Anyways, let me stop because I would go on a whole fucking tangent. I would go on a whole tangent. Don't hide that, divide that is what I'm saying. No, I'm just playing. I'm not saying that because you can't let everybody in the gate though. Like if you let everybody in the gate, you are not protecting your womb. Your womb is the gateway to eternal. To the eternal self. And so not everybody can have access to your womb. They need to be aligned in some way, you know, but you don't necessarily need them to do what you got to do. Get you a motherfucking 9-inch and stop going over there with that halfsies is. That's so funny because I don't know if y'all follow Ryan's Eye. She does like the little skits between her and the universe or whatever. She be cracking me the fuck up because whether she know it or not, she's channeling this. She's channeling this information. But she said something about that. Just go get you a dildo, girl. Just go get you a. And I was like, you know what? Hell yeah, that's right. But yesterday I understand why. You don't need another person. You could literally go, but you need to set your intentions. You need to set your intentions before you go. You need to set your intentions with everything, but before you go to sleep, you need to set your intentions. Before you flick that bean, you need to set your intentions. Before you smoke that weed, you need to set your intentions. Before you eat that food, you need to set your intentions, meaning pray over it. Set your intentions for what you want to happen. 9 is crazy. Oh, okay. My bad. I didn't know that, sister. Whatever you need, you know, it's based off of what you need, not me or what I need. You know, I don't do that. 9 gets the job done. Anyways, I love y'all. I gotta go. I gotta go eat. I gotta go smoke. I gotta go channel these messages. I am starting a community, and so I'm gonna have that done before the end of the day. And so tomorrow, you know, tomorrow, go ahead and look. I'll do a post or something on Patreon or YouTube or TikTok, basically letting y'all know that the community is open. I think I'm gonna do like I don't know, because I feel like we in such a recession. Like I don't want to block people, but at the same time, I do need it to be enough of an investment. So I do have a Substack, but I'm gonna use that for my podcast. And also creative writing. Y'all, what I've been doing is like taking songs that I really connect with, because we don't realize that even the music that we like is information about our journey. And so I was obsessed the other day with Fleetwood Mac's Dreams, which is, my grandma loves Stevie Nicks, so that's probably just her DNA activated. And so what I did is I wrote an analysis on the song of like what I feel like it happened, and it's a spell in that song, which he was her bandmate, and so he had to sing it. And so right before she goes into the spell, she says, "Listen carefully to the words of the sound of your loneliness," and she is programming him by the fucking way. I love a witchy girl. But I did a whole dissertation on it, and I think I have really great takes on stuff because I am a filler and because I'm always channeling information. And so I think I'm going to use my Substack as a way for me to creatively write. And so the Substack is up, though. I haven't put anything on there yet. But also, too, I think that I might do my book on Substack so I can write the book in live time with y'all. Because I feel like we be trying to write a book and you know, it's a has-been. No, I think we need to be creating in the moment with other people, you know? And so I think I want to write my book and do like little short stories on Substack, and eventually it creates a whole story, kind of like we used to do with vlogging, or not blogs back in the day. Like I kind of want it to be like a Sex in the City type of thing, but it's like a mythical realism story. So I don't know, because I'm still in process. That's what this book is about. This book is about me figuring out what I want to create and how I want to create it. You know, Oh, a chapter at a time. Yes, because y'all remember Wattpad? I was a Wattpad girly. And I read some of the most interesting fucking stories on Wattpad, like short stories on Wattpad, and you can't get that in a motherfucking book. They not fucking putting that shit in books. And I don't think I want to go through the whole process of publishing and like for what? For what? When I could just write it real time, you know, get people's responses, critique where I want to critique, but just create something that's kind of like Wattpad. Um, so yeah, that's what I think I'm gonna do with my Substack, but I'm not really sure. But in the next couple of days, I'm trying not to announce anything because I don't want to announce. That feels like performance. But I will let y'all know when I get the communities together. I'm probably gonna work on that in the next 30 minutes. My Patreon, my YouTube, and my TikTok memberships. So it might just be $33 a month. And in that space, I'll share resources. We'll do, I think the readings that I was just talking to y'all about, doing the collective readings and doing live readings is probably going to happen behind that paywall because I don't think I want to do that in a live session. I might have like once a month do a live session for everybody, but for the most part, I kind of want to keep that within the community. And like if I do any type of work, like collective work and stuff like that, if y'all want to do collective work together, it'll be through that community as well. So I'm going to probably spend the next 10, 20 minutes getting that together. And so just give me 30 minutes and then look. But yeah, I might be on here tomorrow. I might not. I'll let y'all know. But besides that, this will be on YouTube. I think it's called, what did I call this? Channel messages. I put it in a playlist called channel messages. And so all of them are going to go into that playlist called channel messages. Hoodoo. What do I think about hoodoo? Do it. That's what I think. If your ancestors did it, you need to be doing it because that's how they can lend you their energy. What I would suggest is 300 and this is what I would suggest if you're trying to get into the craft. Start with being a green witch, okay? Because a green witch does not have any rules. It's not something that has spirits or gate. It don't have nothing. Green witch, okay? Mushrooms are earth's teachers, okay? You want to be a green witch first. Now, when you go from green witch into hoodoo, 365 days of hoodoo. Why? Because the author of this book is a green witch. She is a green witch. And so this is a nice, safe way for you to start into hoodoo. Okay? And then you can move into our spiritual ancestors. So then I would get the book called, what's this called? Orishas, Goddesses, and Voodoo Queens. The Divine Feminine and the African Religious Tradition by Lilith Dorsey. Then I would move to that. But I would practice this for at least 3 months because really 9 months. 9 months. Because everything takes a 9-month cycle because it's 333. Everything is 333. And so conceptual knowing, understanding it as a concept, 3 months. Applied knowing, practicing it, 3 months. Embodied knowing by the sixth, by the start of the 6th month, yeah, it should start being an instinct. Okay. So take 9 months here, 9 months here, and just keep advancing, keep evolving, keep growing. All right, y'all. I'm out because y'all keep me forever if I let y'all. And actually, hold on, I'm gonna wait because it's almost 333, and I'm gonna end this at 333. Y'all should look into and read up on Indicra signs. They are still all around us. Okay. Anyways, I love y'all. I'm leaving. Wait, because I will be on live for 3 hours, 33 minutes and like 15 seconds, and then I'll leave. Oh, it's 333 on the East Coast. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Signs are people left for us. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the clock, 2, period. All right. I'm out, y'all. Bye.